Welcome back, guys. This is Arnaldo, aka Mad Dog, and this is The Real, episode 223 of GG's The Mouthful Podcast.
GG!
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
That was super loud.
Yeah, that was supersonic. I'm going to need you to lower the volume.
I think
you caught me off guard because even though not off guard because I was prepared, but for some reason I thought that introduction was going to give me enough time to have a little bit of my ice cream that I'm having here. And it did not. And I was on cue. I suddenly saw the director like giving me the go ahead. It's your cue. And I got the worst GG that I have ever summoned.
Well, it was both off and really on because it was like super like you know how that little tremble and tickle in the inside of your ear when you hear something like that. That's kind of what happened a second ago. I was like, woo, I need to take these headsets off.
I want to apologize. It's might be this ice cream. It went to my head. That's what it is.
Ice cream headache. Yes.
Yes.
That voice, of course, that's ringing in your eardrums as we speak is Mr. David Santos, aka Dream Twister. What is up, sir?
I'm good, man. I am. I mean, it's a Friday.
Some ice cream, huh?
Fuck of it, still happening. I'm enjoying some ice cream because I'm too lazy to go out and get some beer. Also because my selection of beer is kind of limited because I only like certain type of beers, and you guys already know. And yeah, I for some reason I just saw that in the fridge. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna serve myself some ice cream, and I'm gonna have it while I'm podcasting. It's not even good ice cream either. It's like that Great Value brand.
Oh no. There's certain things. There's certain things in life that you need to go big.
Premium.
You have to go big. Premium. Yeah. Ice cream is for sure one of those. You know, because you can have some really. I mean, maybe not bad ice cream. I don't think you can have. I don't think I've ever had bad ice cream. You know, even the worst ice cream is just, it's good. It's just ice cream. You know?
Yeah. I think with ice cream, you could certainly go premium, but
you can definitely go premium. Yeah.
But you don't have. It's. I mean, even the cheapest brand. I mean, don't get me wrong. Yeah, you could actually get bad ice cream. And I don't mean it bad as in, oh, this is disgusting, but bad as in it being, super bland and tasting like nothing. Like suddenly it feels like you're just eating molasses, cold molasses. Like what the hell, So yeah, you could go bad, and this and the cheaper brand, Great Value, especially Great Value Vanilla. You might as well be asking for paper flavor because that's pretty much what you're gonna get. But at least with this one, you can tell they tried, because they threw it's cookies and cream, and the cookies, they might not be like the best type, but it does the job. It will calm the cravings. I don't know why I'm having ice cream cravings. Maybe I'm pregnant. I don't know.
Or that's a sympathy thing, and your wife is pregnant. Woo! Congratulations, sir!
There you go. Now everybody knows him.
I don't know. For the record, that guy's was completely a guess.
Next week, I'm gonna be like, dude, and you're never gonna believe.
That would be great.
I want more ice cream. Wink, wink.
Oh man. No, for me personally, man, it's like Breyers. Is pretty good. Vanilla, like a Breyers vanilla bean is what they call it. Oh, it's just so good. As a vanilla, it's like almost top shelf, but of vanilla.
I feel like vanilla by itself is kind of wasted, though. I mean, it's okay. It needs something. Like, put some fucking sprinkles on it. I don't know. Just put some syrup or something.
The other day, I picked up. I don't remember the brand now. I want to say maybe it was Bluebell or something like that. And it was butter pecan.
Ooh, I love butter pecan.
So freaking good. I was like, this is some of the best stuff I've ever had. This is like, and of course, it's.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've had better. It's hard to say. It just I don't have ice cream often enough, so when I have it, it's just like this wonderful moment, like ice cream. You know what I mean? But I don't really have ice cream often.
Pistachio flavor, also magnificent.
Pistachio.
Yes.
Yeah, pistachio's pretty
Yeah.
decent. I'm not a huge fan, but it's pretty decent. But yeah, as far as I usually go, Briars or Bluebell. Something that honestly, I in all honesty, if I go in for whatever, I'm looking. What is the most expensive one here? That's what I'm gonna go for. Because I feel like it's already a treat. So if you're already gonna treat yourself, then treat yourself well. You know why go for the 2-for-1? You know. Brand of whatever.
You're gonna go to freaking Dunkin' Donuts where you could go for ice cream. I mean, because their donuts are legit. When you could go to Kelly's Homemade Ice Cream. That place is legit. You know, this program has not been sponsored by Kelly's Homemade Ice Cream.
Yeah, or any of the other ones.
1792 in beautiful Sanford. No, I'm kidding. They're not.
Sure, yeah. Can't at some point they're not going to believe we're not sponsored. So yeah. Overall, that's how I feel about ice cream. So,
well, this podcast is brought to you by Great Value Ice Cream. It'll do the job.
It'll work in a pinch.
Great value.
That's hilarious. Oh man. All right, guys. Well, thanks so much for tuning in to the show. Please, first, if you haven't already, go to goodgame.rocks, join the conversation there. And of course, please like, subscribe, and share the podcast with everyone. What we normally do, guys, is first we start the show with what we have been up to, move on into some various news items, and then we finish with our hot topic of the week. This week's hot topic is exclusivity a bad thing?
I feel like we have this discussion before. Well, maybe it was never a topic.
We certainly had this discussion for sure. I can bet money easily on that. If it was ever a hot topic, I think we did have a topic on exclusive, but I think it was mid this generation where we started looking at all the upcoming exclusives for PlayStation 4 and all the nothing for Xbox One. It's like,
listen, they had games. Remember? Do you remember that pirate one? What was it called? Whatever it was called. They have the
Xbox Pirate game.
Yeah, the Gears of another one of those, and then they have the Halo that they announced that never came up until just recently. You know, they're saying, oh, it's coming. It's gonna be for next gen and current gen also because you know we're cool like that.
We're all about the consumer, guys.
Yeah.
So no, this one is. I guess we can touch a little bit on that, but I think this is more for. I guess obviously first party stuff is first party stuff, right? I mean, you own the stuff, so it's you know, it's what do you call it? It's reasonable to assume that it's just going to remain in your camp.
Of course,
but not everything is exclusive. You don't own everything, and when certain things become exclusive to your side, you know, what does that do to gaming, particularly in a world where it looks like we are slowly but surely moving away from a lot of these. Things from the console war days, and it can even be argued that it's not really a console war right now anyway, right? Because I mean, you feel all three major console developers are just doing their own thing. Like, we're not really competing with each other. Nintendo's doing its own thing. Xbox has laid out a plan that clearly paves a different route than Sony, and Sony's just essentially sticking to what's worked, which is they believe in generations, they believe in exclusives, and we're just gonna continue from this. So it feels like everybody's kind of going their own way. So, but gaming in general has kind of opened up, and to have things locked behind for whatever reason, good or bad, it merits this discussion. So we'll discuss that a little later on in the show. So let's start as we always start with. Oh, by the way, if you haven't already deduced, Mr. Chaos Reaper was not able to make it this week, but don't worry, he will be back soon enough.
So we sorely missed but
Yes,
he will hopefully be back. Hopefully, we back. Remember, we can't promise. We don't know what his schedule is gonna be.
he's an
So we're
important
gonna
man.
be
He's an,
hopeful.
he's an
Yeah.
important man. He's got presidents to talk with, foreign ambassadors to
Yes.
have dinners and stuff. I mean, he's an important man. I mean,
We
he's a,
already we already
it's
know how busy he is. He is a VIP. So
Yeah,
maybe
exactly. It's
he'll be
amazing we even have him on the podcast. I mean,
yeah.
we're 100% grateful that
That's what
he
happens.
can even spare,
That's
the 2 hours that it is that he does already.
That's the problem with this podcast. We have a third share, and it always like the third share always outgrows us, and
Yeah,
they
yeah,
go to
yeah.
bigger and better things, and we're stuck because we have been typecast
I know.
as the G. You're one of the G's. I'm the other G.
Yeah, exactly. The and is the one that keeps coming in and out. G
Yeah,
and
exactly.
G, and yeah, I hear you.
Oh,
I hear
G
you.
and G. That sounds like a vodka.
Yeah, also sounds like a clothing store. I don't know. Uh,
I don't
so
know.
let's start with what we always start with, sir, and that is, of course, what we have been up to. And I will, of course, as tradition dictates, start with you, sir.
All
What
right.
have you been doing?
All right. Well, I have actually been playing a few games here and there. Nothing too like impressive or to go crazy about. But at least a good excuse to say I've been doing something. Because God knows I haven't watched anything on TV. But this week, actually, one of the games that released on PC on Steam was Final Fantasy. Oh, sorry, not Final Fantasy. Phantasy Star Online 2, PSO 2.
Mm,
It's finally out on
it's
Steam.
a thing.
I think finally out because yes, I realized that it came out a few weeks ago on the Windows Store, but I might as well not count that release because that release was horrible to say the least. It was causing all sorts of problems, all sorts of issues, and in some cases even requiring a whole reinstallation of Windows. I heard it was it was pretty bad and a disappointment because for fans of the series, uh, believe it or not, there are a few out there. Uh, they were expecting this game for the longest time because the last time they played a PSO was probably back on the Xbox OG era or Dreamcast. I want to
Hmm.
say, uh, and it's a game that is simplistic in nature, but it could be definitely fun to play with with a group of friends and whatnot. It is a free to play game, completely free to play. The microtransactions and the way they make the money is, as you can imagine, there's cosmetics or um, inventory slots, that they will sell you, stuff like that. I feel like at that point, if you are requiring those updates, it's because you have been playing, for quite some time and you're enjoying it quite a bit, and maybe you are at that hardcore level where yes, you may not need those updates, but those updates are a good quality of life for the game, and you might just at that point, it, being a completely free to play game, I will totally understand and support that form of microtransactions, to say the least,
Hmm.
because you're not paying $60 and on top of that you're requesting more money. It's not that. It's, hey, we're giving you a whole full-fledged game completely free, and then you pay us what you feel. If not, that's fine too. And again, if you have played for that long, like a lot of people have been, when this game has it this is not a new game. It has been out in Japan since forever, and and if you play that long, then yeah, you probably, I think that the developers are deserving of your contribution here and there, maybe. So, but like I mentioned, this game is not new. This game, the first time I actually played was in 2012, and I want to say it was probably released sooner than that. It was only available in Japan. It was a big thing for fans of the series because, like I said, the original PSO was a successful game. It was just that on the consoles that it was released, there were not the consoles that a lot of people had, but it definitely had its cult following. You know, uh, my experience with it, however, it wasn't. It hasn't been bad, but I will tell you right now that it is probably more than 10-year-old game. If in its look and feel and gameplay and all that, it is as old as you can imagine a 10-year-old game being, which is not to say is archaic. I mean, some might argue that even old games like World of Warcraft, you could derive fun out of that. And but what I'm saying is that a lot of the it has a lot of those trappings where other games have actually improved
Mhm.
their the quality of life features, and this one seems very stuck in the olden days. I'll give you an
Oh,
example. It could be something as simple as when you watch the menu, when the menus open, it had you remember Windows XP that had the big X, to close the windows
mm.
Windows the operating system. The well, when you start this game, the windows that open, they don't look exactly like that. They don't look exactly like that, but they still have the big X that you press to close them, and it kind of looks silly because it makes the game look very dated. Uh, which I guess it's a good thing that we saw what appears to be a project to revamp the graphics of that game, if not run a better version, a more up to date version of that game in parallel. I'm still a little confused on what Sega is trying to do with the. You remember that trailer that we saw on the Xbox uh, uh, trailer reveals things that they had the other day?
The are we talking? Well, I know there was like there was a game that looked very Sega like. Is that what you mean? That
Yeah,
particular
yeah,
one?
that's a
Yeah, yeah,
super ultra omega anime game that was
yeah.
there. That's PSO. There's nothing more anime than PSO. Certainly not on that showcase event. On that Xbox showcase event. Let me tell you how anime this is. That it kind of looked insane. First, there are, I think it's the four races, which I'm not even gonna try to name. As you can imagine, one of them is humans, but then you have the elf-looking ones, and then you have
That are not elves.
that are not elves. Yeah,
Okay,
fucking, you know what? Now,
what else?
now I'm gonna have to actually look for it.
We're
Let's
gonna
see.
call them shelves.
PSO2. What's it called? Racist
Shelves.
shelf.
We're gonna
Shelf.
call them shelves. We're gonna call
Actually,
the trolls. We're gonna
funny that
call
you
them hobbits.
no,
Let's see.
that you mentioned. You said shelf. There is a race that is close to that. They're not called shell, but they're called casts. And it's a robotic race basically, and of course there's male and female versions of it because anime, robots have genders. So the male version of the robotic ones, they look uh like Robotech robots, right? You
Hmm.
know, but then the female versions, they look like just a regular female android, with with her shapes, as you can imagine,
Hmm.
and her looks, because it needs to be pleasant. Even though she's a freaking robot, she's made of metal. Even her hair is metal pieces, But they try to make her pleasant looking, which is fine, whatever. So yeah, you got the humans, you got the the Newmans.
The newest.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing that, but I'm imagining a race of Newmans from Seinfeld. Like,
Yeah,
hello,
that's exactly what I was thinking. A race of Newmans. Mm,
a race of they have the
hello.
Newmans.
And
I can't with this anymore. I'm not even. Anyway, all thing to say that the opening sequence is this space, this colony of ships traversing the world and reaching out this planet, and you're thinking, oh, they're maybe they're trying to colonize it or discover it or whatever. But there's a lot of fucking ships, that you see there, coming in, and they send the ships into the atmosphere, and and then as they fly through the ocean, out of nowhere, it does this portal looking thing where something appears out of thin air, and out of nowhere comes out this 1940s looking battleship in the ocean with the huge cannons and stuff like that, and it's like exactly as you're imagining it right now. And you start noticing that they're pointing their cannons towards the characters that are flying, Robotech style again, towards the floor, towards the ocean, and then out of nowhere, this 1942 looking planes. I forgot what they're called exactly, but it's this World War. Uh, I'm just gonna say World War II planes, Japanese looking planes, start flying out. Come appearing out of nowhere, flying out and attacking with regular like ballistic weapons, because hey, who needs to
because
throw
why
it,
not?
right? Why not? Let's throw the technology. Let's throw, it just, you don't expect that. I don't even know how to describe it. Um, and it's weird because you think, okay, so that's an interesting enemy, except that that's not the enemy, or maybe that's I don't know I don't know who the hell is the enemy, because I only put like a couple of 3 hours on it before I was like, yeah, nope. I'm thinking I'm good, fam. I appreciate the fact that this is a free game. Maybe I might join if someone who wants to join me. I might go into it again, but I think I'm gonna wait for the revamped graphics version of it if I ever go back at all. Because then the voice acting is terrible, because the good thing is that they dubbed it in English, but the bad thing is that they didn't care at all to dub to work the lip syncing at all. When I
Oh
say at
yeah.
all, I'm talking about lips will be moving past a better part of 5 seconds after the person has stopped talking. All right, they just keep going. It's like lip sync. What are you talking about? This is 2012. We hadn't discovered that yet.
Honestly, I think it sounds to me like, personally, it sounds to me like there was a little bit of rewriting there. I mean, 5 seconds is a long
Oh,
time.
dude, it was.
Yeah.
You could, and I understand from switching to translating from Japanese and whatnot, but I feel like a lot of game has been able to work that out. In this case, Sega didn't even care. They didn't change anything. They probably left everything exactly the same. They didn't edit. They didn't touch anything. They were just like, just throw just throw the Google translation of what they're trying to say. Who cares? Who cares if it makes sense or not? And that's how they were. And I guess it worked in the sense of not, the people are not really going for the story on this thing, or I'm certainly hoping that they're not.
Hmm.
um, because I don't know, but the I don't know, but it doesn't feel like the type of game that it's gonna have an engrossing story or anything like that. Certainly, I haven't heard. I could be completely wrong, and it might have an amazing story, but for the type of game that it is,
Yeah, I was
I
gonna say I
doubt
don't.
it. Yeah,
We would have known by now, though. And
yeah,
it would have
yeah,
been
yeah.
already. Yeah.
I can understand the appeal. I can understand why people were uh so enamored with the idea of finally, PSO 2 is it's coming. First of all, I don't have a big fondness on the play on the Fantasy Star Online genre. Oh, no
Hmm.
genre. Sorry, but franchise itself, because I was a big fan of the original Fantasy Star. The way that those games were legitimate, role playing games. And Fantasy Star, I think the original Fantasy Star is still one of my favorite games. And I'm talking about Sega Master System game. That game is phenomenal in so many ways, that still to this day I love it, and I have played it recently. So this is not just nostalgia glasses. Um, I actually own it on Switch, believe it or not. Um,
Okay.
the Fantasy Star 2, I also really, really like. Final Fantasy, goddamn, I'm gonna be making that mistake a lot. Fantasy Star 3 Generations was a game that, for its time, a Sega Genesis game, did a lot of interesting things. Like with the thing about it is that choose to you could choose your own path by deciding who you will marry, and at some point the offspring of that couple will be the next, the next the main character, basically.
Okay.
So so it was playing with that, with different endings and stuff like that. It was really cool. Um and and Fantasy Star 4 came out, and also fantastic. But all of that, I feel like all of that lore got cast aside when the moment they opened this to be an online game. And as cool as it might be, it's just not the same at all. Like, not the same feeling at all. It's still super anime, yes. It's still super sci-fi, yes. I get that. And there's fans of that art style that are really going to enjoy this game. Uh, I like the idea, and I'll be willing to try it again when they release that, improved
Improvements.
version.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When they bring that. So that was Fantasy Star Online. I mean, it's free right now. Download it from Steam. Try it out for yourself, and who knows? You might decide that you actually like it. I thought the controller. I played it with keyboard and mouse, but I remember playing it with the controller, and it worked great. Worked remarkably well. So yeah. So that's Fantasy. That's PSO 2. I also I was also playing Dirt Rally.
Oh.
Uh,
Okay.
and that would caught me by surprise, because I own this game, but I don't remember how I got it, because I know I didn't buy it. So I just saw it on my Steam library. I was like, I own Dirt Rally, and this game came out in 2015. I started looking at the graphics, like, okay, well, let me see what it is. And I was like, oh, okay, so it's a rally game, as you can imagine. It graphics are, they look pretty cool. Let me just throw it in there and try it.
Yeah.
Oh boy, man, am I having fun with this game?
Oh, I was half expecting. Man, was that a letdown?
No, actually, I think the game was offered for free at one point. I was like, oh, sure, I'll tag it, whatever, and then never give it a second thought. But it is it is the feeling of it's that feeling of you against time, going in and going off road, and drifting of that feeling of almost losing control but not quite, and having to balance that, that having that to balance the risk of, well, do I just floor it here, or am I gonna pay for it if I do, because I'm not gonna notice this little bomb that is just gonna throw my rally car berserk into the earth, into the air, and next thing I know, I just met a tree, a tree trunk or something. um, it is really cool. I think I like this type of games. Actually, I
Okay.
was looking for a race. I like racing games, but I have to admit, I can understand why some people don't care about them much, because at the end of the day, you're almost always doing the same thing, and it's what you expect.
Yeah, but
It's
if the same thing is exhilarating, then it doesn't feel like the same thing. You know what I mean?
exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
Even with a game like Forza, I felt like, well, all I'm doing is trying to be. I'm competing against the other players, or I'm competing against the AI.
Hmm.
Uh, but I feel like in this rally games, I discovered that there is there is some fun to be had about competing against yourself.
Hmm.
Trying to be as efficient as possible, and which I guess you could also do on other racing games. But I don't know. I feel like I may have ignored this genre uh, a little bit, and this rediscovering it like this, have me looking forward like the next installment. Just to see.
Just
I'm
to,
still
yeah.
playing.
Okay.
I'm still gonna play. I'm still gonna play it, and play this one and enjoy it. It was I like when I discover things, related to gaming, and I think that's why at one point I texted you. It's like, I guess this is happening now.
Yeah.
Freaking rally game, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't understand why, but I'm having a lot of fun with it.
Oh, nothing
Uh,
wrong with that, dude. I mean, you're into racing, so it's it makes sense that can still have some appeal to you. For me personally, I've just never really been into, and I've tried. It is not like I have not. I have bought, like, good racers, and everywhere from Gran Turismo to freaking Need for Speed, and all the way back to Cruising USA, and all this stuff.
oh,
I've got them all.
man.
Yeah, and it's just like, and I have fun with them, but it's just, in the end, I don't hang on to that play for very long.
Hang On
uh
was also an excellent racing game. Believe it or not. That was a motorcycle, actually.
Hang on, yeah, okay.
Yeah, I remember, yeah, from Sega. Hang on. No, I know what you mean, and honestly, racing game is one of those things that if you're not into the type of games, it's just gonna be super boring. I think that's why I kind of like. I liked a lot what they did with the Forza Horizon series in particular. Because notice, for me to be being a big fan of Forza Horizon, like, I don't care about Forza, the normal Forza. I haven't bought it. I realize it's good. It's really good, but I'm not gonna spend $60 on a racing game where I already know what to expect. With Forza Horizon, I feel like, well, I'm getting more than just the racing. I'm also getting, the 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 music, the thrill of the festival,
Hmm.
and actually, I mentioned the music. Believe it or not, I have discovered a lot of cool artists, and I have Shazam a lot of songs uh, out of the soundtracks of Forza Horizon, because it does have, it does have that, they have a good soundtrack. Um, but yeah, I would not get into like Forza, and if I get Gran Turismo, it's probably because it looks freaking gorgeous and I want to experience that. But it's not
Hmm.
because it's a game that I see myself sticking to it, because I'm not a huge fan of the super simulation aspect of it, because I'm not a gearhead. So I just want to run. I just want to race my car and look cool at it. Like an arcade, like an outrun,
Hmm.
basically. Or hang on. The last game. well, actually, not the last game. I also play a little bit of um, what's it called? Monster Boy and the Cursed Kingdom, which I have already talked about this because I played it on the Switch,
Mhm.
and the Steam version was really cheap, and I was like, yeah, why not? I'll jump on it. I almost had this thing with games where I still feel for whether good or bad, I feel like at some point I'm not gonna have the Switch, and that's just the games that I'm not gonna have, or I'm not gonna have console X or Y. Whereas I'm always gonna have a PC, and I can always go back to those old games. Like the other day, speaking of of Outrun, I was playing Outrun SP, I think is what it was called. And that game is, I think it was a 2007 or 2009, and Outrun came out on 360, and I had the PC version, and I jumped on it, and
Mm.
it was great. So even if I have the game on Switch, uh, I feel like, oh no, this game is good, and I'm probably gonna want to revisit it. And it was cheap; it was like $10, I think, on the deal. So I grabbed it, and I played a little bit, but I'm not ready to go back into that game yet. The game that I actually there was another Steam sale that I picked up that I've been having quite a bit of fun actually is Darksiders Genesis. I told you,
Darksiders Genesis. Okay, let me
I'm
see.
all I'm everywhere on this thing. So Darksiders, you remember Darksiders, that THQ game, um, that
Yeah.
was a lot of people describe the first one that they describe it as a God of War meets Zelda. You
Mhm.
know, you play as War, one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse, and the character design is like ridiculous because there's no other way to describe it. It's a ridiculous character design. It's like completely all out. This is totally a chaos joint.
Okay. Right? Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Because Darksiders, the original one, it was a really good game. Then the second one came, and like I didn't care for it that much, and I didn't even pay attention to the third one. But um, Darksiders Genesis is meant to be a prequel to the events of to all the events of the other ones, and it has something that is drastically different from the other games, which is whether the other games were third person action games almost, or not almost. That's what they were. This one has a perspective, the 3/4 perspective from like Diablo.
Diablo. Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah.
That's that is the perspective that it has, and by the looks of it, you will think, well, this is a game like Diablo. Basically, I mean, it is that game. What else could it be? But no, which
Mhm.
is the weird thing. I mean, it definitely looks the par. It definitely looks that way. Um, the graphics, I'm not gonna say they're not like super impressive or anything like that. I mean, they do look nice. They do look pretty and interesting. They have this blocky World of Warcraft shift look without looking too dated, like World of Warcraft.
Mhm.
Um, they have a look that works. Let's put it that way. And you're playing in this perspective that definitely looks like you are playing fucking Diablo.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely Diablo percent. And it looks like it's like, I mean, it looks like a hell version. Well, no, I guess yeah. Diablo itself is its own hell version, but yeah, it looks like it looks pretty good though.
yeah,
But it looks yeah, it looks just
the
like
actual look.
Diablo.
When you look at the graphics, and you're like, yeah, this is Diablo. I mean, you're in hell. You're fighting. Those are demons. I recognize demons. So, that's Diablo. But no, the action the game has a very engaging fighting mechanic that is really fun. It feels like you're playing an action character action game
Hmm.
on the wrong perspective, and that could be it's cool. It's good in the sense that it's different, but it's also jarring because it makes you sometimes wish that it was just a regular, character action game. Although to be fair, I didn't find myself wishing for that mm, a lot, except on few occasions where the camera angles made me really wish this was a normal their character action game, because oh my god, could it get frustrating, bro? In some areas, like the game had some areas where I just like like the path clearly took me towards a particular way, and but then from there it was like, okay, I'm here. What do you want me to do here? Like, if I jump, I'm gonna fall into that precipice. If I try to reach that other thing that is like hanging over there, I'm obviously not going to reach that. I can't go back down, because then what was the point of bringing me here? Like, what is it that you want me to do? But obviously, you want me to do something here because you took me through the path of, and it's not like it directed me. It's not like that it shows you an arrow or where to go. Even the map, I would say that it's not really that great, because it doesn't convey exactly where you are in the world. It gives you a vague idea. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like it does this thing where you look at the map, and rather than having an icon exactly where my character is here, what it does is that it shows you like a circle, like, well, your character is somewhere here. It's somewhere in this area, but it's kind of vague. You don't know exactly, especially when you're playing, and the map that you're viewing is static, but when you're playing, the camera plays with the camera angles, basically. So what you think might be north might not necessarily be north. It might be to your right, and stuff like that. So it could get kind of confusing. But once you get into the combat, you understand it. It's like, okay, so this is like, like God of War and like all those games, um, and in this particular case, you control, if you're playing just by yourself, uh, then you get to control both characters. And what you do, well, I should explain. There are two characters. There's War, the Horseman War, and Strife. It's your companion. If you're playing co-op, obviously me and you will control each other, different characters. But if you're playing solo, then you have a toggle where you can switch between playing as War, which he has his two-handed sword, and he's supposed to be, he plays very brutish. Most of his attacks are very marked, very brutish, very boom. Or you can switch to Strife, who he is a range combat. He has guns, so you're constantly firing, and when someone gets close, then you can start using your knives. But even your knives are not as strong as War's sword,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it has that mechanic where it has you alternated between the characters. It's kind of a little weird sometimes, because you'll be playing the solo character, and then suddenly you get to a part in the story, and the other character just kind of he kind of like separates from your own body, and suddenly, oh, both are there. Okay, well then when you go back into playing, it's just you, and then you can toggle back and forth. But it's also cool in battles to switch, but it's not a mechanic that I will say is necessary. I feel like it's there just to say, hey, we don't we don't know how to do a proper AI to control the character, or you probably don't want that anyway. But we realize that you might want to play with your buddy, and if you want, then yes, you can have he could play as Strife and have a lot of fun, because it even has split screen co-op, even on PC. If that's your route, you can play
That's your
that way.
yeah, yeah. You can go that way. Yeah.
Yeah. And the story is interesting. So far it's I mean it's not gonna be anything special. It's not gonna be any awards. I would say I wouldn't even I wouldn't even give it that much credit for the voice acting because it's not great. War sounds obviously like that very foreboding character. And then you have Strife, which for some reason he is the embodiment of what was that character from Destiny that got killed in
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I know you're talking about Nathan
the
Fillion voice.
hunter.
Yeah, voice Nathan Fillion. Uh, frack.
I I got yeah
Oh,
exactly.
Cade six or Cade? Yeah, Cade.
Kate. He's basically Kate Six. It sounds like him. I'm not sure if it's the same. I'm not saying he's the same, but it might as well be because he acts just like that. Actually, to be fair, his entrance when the first cutscene shows up and he's doing the thing where he's going to the bad guy, and the bad guy is, I mean, he is surrounded by bad guys, and you got the main demon, who is huge, and he goes with the same poise as Kate Six will be like, you're under arrest for yada yada yada. You're breaking the covenant or whatever. And then of course, uh, the big demon, he basically thinks, oh, well, you and War Army, and he does this K thing where he starts shooting and just killing a bunch of people, and it's basically that character. I think K6 died in Destiny, and this is the hell that he spawned on now because he's playing the same character. Anyway, the game's really fun. I grabbed it because it was $20 on Steam right now. I think for $20, it's a meaty game. It in the sense of it has a cool progression system where uh, I still don't understand it 100% because I haven't put enough hours into it. But what I have seen and what I've read on reviews is that it gets engaging because you start getting like some of the powers of the enemies that you kill. Um, and it apparently is a longish game, upwards of 15 hours. So I want to see where it takes me, or how long would it hold my interest. I'm also going to say that how we make fun that THQ games, THQ games for the most part is that is that art of the B tier games,
Yeah, middle ground. Yeah, middle ground game.
those games that seem to have disappeared now that everybody wants to be a AAA title. Well, or an indie game. Well, guess what? B tier games are back, and THQ is the revival of them. And this game, it just feels like that. The cutscenes, it might start you with a full sequence cutscene, with a full motion cutscene, but everything else is like um, static graphics. Even when
Mm.
they're talking, it just show the static graphic of War, and then the static graphic of Strife on the other side. And if the third person is talking, it appears a static graphic here. It's kind of silly, but I'm digging it. Our style is cool, and I don't know, $20. Why not?
Why not?
It,
Yeah.
it's a fun little thing. That is all that I have actually been playing this week.
Well, sir, that's actually a full plate of a lot of games.
But there's diversified, right? I gave
Yeah,
you a little
yeah,
bit of rating,
whatever.
a little bit of action, a
Yeah,
little bit of
I think the only
yeah.
thing missing is the visual novel. So that's pretty much it. Um,
Well,
get on
funny
that the
that
next week for the record.
you mentioned match
For,
three games. Like there's a lot of match three games on Steam.
oh,
Of
I'm
the
sure they're
of,
everywhere.
of the
Yeah,
hentai kind. though.
Well, I mean, yeah, those are everywhere too. Oh man. The only game I've been playing, I'm still playing Ghost of Tsushima, for the record. And
Jeez,
I've
that game, of
spoken
course. It is.
heavily. I think I've spoken heavily about it, and I really don't have anything additional to say other than that it is getting better. The more I play it, I have completely. It's one of those things where I'm like, I'm actually going to every little question mark and taking it off the
Oh,
map, and I
wow.
don't feel like and I don't feel like it's in any way unnecessary. Every one of them leads you to something good, something that can help you. I may be maybe even a little OP when I go to the main stories. Um, not that you can't die, because you can still die. You can get overwhelmed quickly. But you have so many options now to avoid getting overwhelmed. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
really, if you just decide to take on 15 people, then yeah, that's going to be a challenge. You know what I mean? If you're just going to take them on hand to hand. But you can obviously thin the herd and there's many ways of getting around all that. So it's just a lot of fun. The story, I think, is, again, I won't spoil anything, but I think today I was playing today. I played today a good 4 hours, and I think really I just, like, a couple times today, with the story, it got me, and I maybe even got a little glassy eyed. I was like, wow, this is okay.
Oh,
All right.
okay. That's
Yeah.
good. That's
That's
good.
like, yeah.
It's
And
profound.
it's well done. I'm listening for the record. I'm doing this on the Japanese soundtrack, so everything is in Japanese, and it's really well done. It really, really feels like a film, and it really just delivers. I am in utter shock how good it is. So anyway, again, I won't really talk about it anymore. I've been playing a lot of that. It's divided into 3 parts of the island. I'm coming to what I think is this end of the second part, I guess, and so I'm not even near the end. You know what I mean? And I just been playing a lot of it, and I
And,
don't
and
mind.
you're doing exactly what you said. What you say.
But I
No,
don't like to do. Yeah, yeah. Well, here, I mean, the one difference I can say is I've said it a million times. I don't want to have to collect a bunch of stuff.
right.
Technically, you never really had to, right? In essence, none of those games ever force you to collect all those things, right? So, here you have the same thing.
Unless you want to see the real ending.
No, I mean, I don't think Assassin's Creed locks the real
I know.
ending away
I know.
behind 100
That's,
flags. You know what I mean?
that's the joke, though. That when
Yeah.
games do shit like that,
Yeah.
I think there was even a meme of I read somewhere. It's like, oh no, you don't have to collect all the eggs, if you don't care about the real ending. And you're like, well, shit, I guess I'll have to.
I guess I have no choice. But here there is, a lot of collecting. I think there's like 80 banners, right? Banners of clan banners that you can collect, and they're everywhere. If you collect them, you can actually trade them in for a better saddle or something like that for your horse. So there's a purpose behind them, right? And you have levels, right? You don't have to collect them all just to, but if you collect 10, you'll have this. You collect another 15 after that, there's a better saddle, and all this stuff. So it's like, none of
Is
it.
that cosmetic, or does it give you?
Saddle cosmetic. Yeah, it just makes the horse
Man,
look cool. You know what I mean? No, because let's be real. In the end, the horse is still the horse. It's not going to suddenly run faster because it has a better saddle. That just doesn't make sense. You know what I mean?
So games will do that, though.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like, and sure, I guess that's cool. But when you're trying to ground things in reality, like this game really tries to do, it's like, no, I get it. And I have a lot of the armors, and I'm collecting all the different armor dyes, and so now I'm like color coordinating my character. You know what I mean? It's just like, okay, so if I'm gonna wear the red Ronin outfit, then I have to have a sword that contrasts that look, right? So I start going through all the different swords. And again, the swords are all the same. The sword doesn't suddenly become stronger because it's a different sword. It's still a sword. It's just the look. Yeah. So and just for that alone, I'm like, yes, I want to go and collect all the different sword kits. So I have all the options, because you never know, if there's a better option that goes with this, traveler's outfit. You know?
You know what? I think an honorable samurai of that era will not give two shits about that. So
Au
you're not being
contraire,
realistic.
mon frere. I will have you. I have no idea. You're probably right, but
Your
this samurai
samurai
right
is
here,
madness.
this samurai right here is all about coordination. Okay, I cannot go beheading people looking completely off of my colors. It just it's not. That's just. I mean,
Of course not.
that's the first thing that the peasant is going to say. It's like, yeah, he took him out, but dear Lord, did you see that weird sword he had? It was just, It's just no, I can't do that. So anyway, I'm really having fun with this game. I've so much on my backlog and so much time now because there's really nothing coming out, and yet I don't
Yeah.
even care. I just
That's
I
good.
don't
That's
even
good.
care. I'm
You're
enjoying
holding
it. Yeah,
this. This
I'm
game
enjoying
is
it.
holding you.
Yes, it most certainly is. A lot has to do with the combat, which I mentioned before. It's a lot of fun. It's challenging, but also fun, and I really enjoy it. So that's just really what I've been playing. Excuse me. And as far as I have been seeing a lot of movies because, frankly, I don't know. I just kind of fell off movies, and I feel like I needed to catch up. And I was like, wait, that was a perfect time to go back and look at some of the stuff that I missed out on. So, first off, before I do that, I do want to say I finally saw finished season 3 of Dark, and
Oh, dark.
tell you that show is a total mind job. That show
Everybody,
is
everybody tells me. I've had people. I have people at work that I haven't talked in forever. Suddenly reach out. It's like, dude, you gotta watch Dark. And I'm like, yeah, I heard it's a mind fuck. It's like, oh, you don't even know.
it can't you don't even know. It's just you don't even know. So, all right, I'm going to be because this is literally from season 1. And I'm going to, and I know you have no interest in watching because you've already
No,
mentioned
I'm
it.
kind of getting interested.
Well,
My wife
Matthew,
is like,
close your ears in a second.
huh?
I
Okay,
said,
all right.
Matthew, close your ears. No. Seriously, this is okay. To say this is not a spoiler would be lying, but
See
to
now,
say that
now
this
all right,
also
say it, but I'm not gonna listen to it. I'm gonna give you 2 minutes by the clock.
to say that it's a spoiler is lying. However, to say that getting this spoil ruins anything would also be lying because the lengths that the show goes through. Okay, I won't even spoil it because if there's any interest in it, I would want you to do it. I know that Judy was into it and she started season 3 and she was like lost. And I know why she was lost, because as I had mentioned to you in the message I sent to her, it's the show went to a whole different thing. You know what I mean? And it's just like, it's only 3 seasons. First of all, the awesome part of it is just 3 seasons and is a nice tight story. That's it. And we're not talking 23 episode season. We're talking 3 seasons. I think the first season is 10 episodes and season 2 and 3 are 8. So easily
okay.
Yes. This show, dude, is high sci-fi. Okay. It is sci-fi of the ultimate level, dude. It's yes,
Wait
it's
a minute.
like
I'm imagining like frigging. Actually, I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen super high sci-fi.
this thing includes a quantum realm. It includes time travel, that's not a spoiler to say because that's actually in the trailer and for sure season 1. But it starts off so innocently because it starts off like a missing kid. Literally starts off early on. I compared it to Stranger Things, right? Because the literal first thing is, hey, this kid is missing, just like Will Byers was in Stranger Things. He went missing, and that led to the upside down and all the craziness in there, right? Here, it's the same thing, but what it leads to is so far out there. Honestly, I spent hours watching videos on just seeing if I can get someone to give me the straight line.
Okay,
of what's going on here.
Let me see. All right, so without having without having seen the series at all, I'm going to tell you the premise. And this is you told me high sci-fi. All
Mhm.
right. All right. So is this planet where there is a well, it looks like Earth, but and it plays like Earth, but they're robots. There's cyborgs that look like people, and then there's this major exile because the robot take over, and then their ships are like flying into space, and then there's robots are trying to get it to them, and then there's there's a particular robot that gets to the main guy, and then the main guy is a robot also. I'm spoiling the seasons already. So, and then
No,
they get to
we're
another
completely
planet
way
and
off.
they
So,
go home. All right. And that home, it's actually planet Earth, but before the planet Earth was invented, right? Am I close?
so before God, essentially, before
Exactly.
God created the earth.
Exactly. And then because and this is a twist. The guy, the robot and the main guy were actually angels. You see? I just twisted up on you, and they're basically the ones that created, you know, when they fell in love and whatever, they created the humans, and we are all descendants of that race. The end. How do you like my? How do you like Dark as my
Uh,
version?
I can definitely see, Dark 2.0 sounds awesome.
There you go. I just Netflix. It's already
Netflix,
greenlit. Forget
it's
it. I
already
just
done. Yeah,
mentioned
that's
Netflix, and they already sent me an email. I got you, fam.
it. Here's $5 million. Make it happen.
The
I need
email says,
8 episodes. That's it. That's the most you need.
yeah, exactly. The email says, say no more.
So no, for the record, no. I really, really kind of just want to say this one thing because it just kind of hints as to the craziness that it goes through, but I won't. I'll leave it out. But I just anyway, a really, really good show. And here's the best part of it. Here is the absolute best part of it.
Uh-huh.
One of the things of sci-fi is how an explanation gets left behind. You know what I mean? And or something you wander to something, you go, but wait, they never actually explain this, whatever. And no, I cannot think of one thing that this show has it did where it left an unanswered question, or the answer to one question contradicted this other thing. You know what I mean? It just did
Really?
not do it. It really, absolutely. But it also, in so many ways, have you heard of the bootstrap paradox? Because
Mm,
that's part of this entire thing. So you know what? Let me put it that way. Let me talk about the bootstrap paradox, which will kind of give you a hint as to what the hell's going on. The
uh-huh.
bootstrap paradox is this. So let's say, for instance, let's say, for instance, I don't know, you could decide to, you get this idea from someone one day that you have no idea who they are, but they gave you this idea for a thing, and then you ended up making a book, and this book became this huge bestseller and led you to become this great writer and all this stuff. And you go into in your old age, and you're like, oh man, it was been a wonderful thing. And then somehow you go back into time.
Oh, I know
And
this. I definitely, I know this. Yep. And
you
who
talk
wrote
into
the book?
you're the person who ends up talking into the young you to
Yeah,
tell you about said book. So then the question really comes up: how's that possible? How can one lead to another? If you know what I mean, it's that
because you
circle.
can't, because the book. I mean, you can't bring the book to the past, or imagine there's the same book. How has
Mhm.
it not dissolved into nothingness?
Correct.
Because the book
Yeah,
keeps
but
aging.
it wasn't even that. It was exactly because it's constantly moving around. It's got to get older. When you do this. So
I
so
know. I
yeah.
knew I heard about it. I knew I
Yeah.
heard about it. Actually, I saw
Hello,
that.
Terminator was one of the first one that showed it. It's like, okay, so
Yeah.
they send this guy back to save Sarah Connor, who ends up getting her pregnant, who ends up giving birth to that savior, who ends up saying, you know, and it's like, well, how did that even start? You know,
it's a chicken and the egg. It's a chicken and the fucking egg.
Chicken and the egg, exactly. So that's one like thing that the film the show has, and that's it. I'll just leave it at that, basically. And man, does it freaking love to play jump rope with that freaking concept. That's all I'm gonna say. Moving on. But no, seriously, I can definitely highly recommend the show. I feel like Judy, and to be fair, I before I started season 3, it's been so long since season 1 and 2 that's like I need to see them again, and I'm glad I did. She did not, and she got so confused because of the beginning of season 3 that it completely turned her off. Just I don't remember what's happening, and she lost interest. Yeah. Me, I didn't do that. I just knew I wanted to see a recap, and I went everywhere to see a recap, and all the recaps left me the same way. I was like, well, I'm not getting this. And now she's like, I'm just gonna have to watch them again, and I did. And I'm glad I did, because that helped me, you know, absorb what was happening in season 3 and understand what was going on. And so, yeah, definitely.
But they're done.
They're done. Yeah, that's it. There's no more. Okay. Yeah, just three seasons. So now, anybody who wants to watch it, you have the entire thing there. You know, you can just watch it from beginning to end. You don't have to worry about waiting a year or anything like that. You're good.
Good. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, that's good, because then I could be ready. I could be ready. I don't have to worry about forgetting. And I'm not huge into rewatching, so that's perfect.
Yeah. Yeah. You're also not huge into binging, so you would normally, you know, organically take time as well. So
yeah. If it holds my interest, though, I mean, Breaking Bad, bro. Still.
Oh yeah, I mean,
watch 2 or 3 episodes a day.
You know, at some point, you know, you just gotta call it. You know, when you're at God level, you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, at that level is come on. Exactly. Let's be real.
I also watched an actually highly anticipated film for Netflix called The Old Guard, which I knew and I kind of wanted to see, but I just kept putting off. I'm not sure what it is. I just kept putting it off. Stars Charlize Theron, and a few actors you may know. I'm gonna mess this dude's name. I've seen him a million times. I'm gonna mess his name up. Chidwetel Ejiofor. He's been in a lot of films. He's actually, I'm sure you saw the movie Firefly.
Yeah, the one based on the
show. Yeah.
Of course, yeah.
Firefly was a show, so the movie was called something else.
Serenity.
Whatever Serenity, thank you. So you saying Serenity?
Yeah.
So you remember the villain at the end that he's fighting that has that sword, whatever? That's the actor I'm referring to.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. So he's in this as well, and there's a few other people who I recognize, but they're not huge. And so the story basically is, and this is in the trailer, so this is not a spoiler. It's about these group of people who work sort of like mercenaries. However, they are immortal to an extent. Except when they die, yeah. So basically, they become immortal, you know, in a way they don't realize it. And then for some reason, this particular group, you know, some of them have been living since the Crusades. I think the main character, Charlize Theron, which is Andy, has been living even longer than that. The one if you get killed, you come back. Essentially, you just can't die. And so they do whatever they can to do good acts in the world, but the immortality, it will end at some point. You know, you just don't know when. You know, it just does when it does. You just stop healing. That's at that point. You know, and that's kind of how you figure it out. You know, unfortunately, it's that because there's nothing that changes. It's just that you realize you're not healing. That's when you realize, oh, I guess it's gone. You know what I mean? And so the story is, so that's kind of, you know, you kind of go into the main story with it, and you kind of see what's going on. There's a new character, like a new girl. She's in the Marines, and she just, something happened to her and whatever, and she finds out she's immortal. They obviously go grab her because, you know, they want to make sure. they get her, to make sure she doesn't get tested or because people don't know, and then you don't want how fucking governments are. So anyway, the story overall is actually it's good. It's good. It's predictable in many ways. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, it's actually a fun action film. That's the easiest way I can put it. That it's a fun action film. There's some things that to me didn't make any sense. Like they're in, I don't know where they were at. They were like somewhere in the Middle East or something like that. Half of them have they have guns, and then for some reason they have these weird like melee weapons. And I'm just like, okay, I guess it just felt to me. It always just kind of like, well, that just seems impractical. You know what I mean? I just don't know why a broadsword. Why did you bring that into a battle when most people are carrying guns? So I was like, oh, okay, it has weird moments like that where you just go, yeah, I guess, I guess that makes sense, sort of, maybe. It has a lot of that. It is a Netflix film, so obviously it's available at any point, and actually apparently got decent reviews, and it looks like it may have a sequel based on how
you like. If you like that, trust you, I could go into it.
It was good. It was good.
Yeah. I'm not expecting
solid. Yeah, I'd say a solid 7 at max. You know what I mean? It has some decent action overall. But it's So I'll leave it at that. And so that is The Old Guard. And it's on a Netflix at the moment. Then I started going back and doing some rewatching because I realized that there's not a lot of good movies out. Not a lot of good like new movies, And
you said a couple of podcasts ago. It's like it's just not a lot of good movies coming out.
Just like God. Then that's what happens. When it happens, I start going back and it's like, I want to see something that I know is good. I don't really doubt it. So first I went back to, because I found it on Prime. It happened to be on Prime. I went back and watched The Usual Suspects, which is such a great film. Such a great film. It's the movie that basically gave Bryan Singer his career, as far as I'm concerned, and I may be overstating that, but I feel that way. Like before that movie, I don't think anybody knew who Bryan Singer was. So, anyway, I won't go into detail because to go into any detail is to spoil anything, and my cohort here has not watched it, so I
said I was gonna by the next podcast. Before you guys go crazy, like what? I mean, you should know by now. If you still,
it should be no surprise at this point.
Surprised by the fact of by the glaring gaps, movie gaps that I have.
Yeah. Oh that boy, one, my friend, is now. I do want to say it is a film of 1993. It is also a you can definitely put it into the noir category because it does have that film noir feel to it, and I really dig it, especially with the choice of score that he has and the way the mystery kind of comes out essentially, and it's classic. It's classic, and it does not get it. And I get it also. I understand. I feel the same way about Kevin Spacey. Molesting a boy, he should be shot. Hey, it is what it is. I can't deny he was a great actor, and he did a great role here as well. And frankly, in no way am I saying does that in any way forgive anything he's done. I get it, what I'm saying, because you see a lot of Kevin Spacey stuff, almost like flagged, like, oh no, we can't watch that dude. That dude's a fucking pedophile. And it's like he is. I mean, the accusations out there is the truth. It's and I'm not saying I watch this because I support that in any way, because I most certainly do not. But I do love the film. And the film is great, and there are other people in it, who also do amazing. And I feel that to just avoid the film would do the rest of the people involved this service.
I'll watch it when this is what they should do. You edit every time Kevin Spacey is shown, and they should replace him with a walkie-talkie instead. and there you go, fixed it.
It's that sounds like logical. By the way, it's 1995, not 1993. My bad, 95 is when we go. But yeah, that sounds like a logical fix to me. And the last movie I saw is it's one of my. I almost bought it. I literally almost bought it, but I did not. I said fuck it. I'll just rent it. That's fine. Because I haven't watched it. I've watched it a few times, but I haven't watched it in a while. And just that when I saw it, like it's one of those things. Like I know the film, but if it's out of sight, it's out of mind, right? So if you don't really see it anywhere, you don't hear about it, and it just kind of whatever. But I just kind of stumbled upon it, and I saw it there, and I was like, ooh, because I was looking for something. Again, I wanted something I've seen, something that I know was going to be good, and I saw it, and I was like, yes, we're putting that on. Fuck it, you know what I mean? And that is Mr. Ryan Johnson's directorial debut, film called Brick, coming out in 2005.
Oh, Brick, yeah, you told me about that.
Yes, and so again, won't go into any spoilers here, but overall story is there is a girl who's missing, and it happens to be the main character who's played by Joseph Gordon-Levitt. His name's Brendan, and it's his ex. And this movie is another one that it's weird because it mashes two things together. It mashes. It is another crime noir, but in high school. And as weird as that is, and as unbelievable as it should not work in any way, I mean, that's like night and day. High school drama plus crime noir. It works. It really works. Parents are there, but my God, those parents, they might as well be non-existent, because it's just like they're there to do nothing. You know what it is? It's so weird. These kids are and the other thing is it has this weird, not weird, but every young group has its lingo, right? It's slang or whatever, and this has that in spades, where even me, who I've watched it several times, I literally have to watch it with subtitles, because you're going to hear what they're saying, but it just doesn't make sense. It makes sense if you see it in words. It's like, okay, I see what he means now, that you know what I mean? Because they use certain things. Is the way they talk, and the way they refer to something when they say, something. I'm going to go take a break. Well, they go, something else. I'll go. I don't know. Lay the hay or something. I'm just making shit up here, but I'm just saying, they'll say that, and you go, lay the hay. What the fuck is that? You know what I mean? But when you read it in the context, you go, oh, I get what they're saying. So and that's cool on top of that, because it adds another flavor to it. So I'm just so happy that I got to watch these two films. I mean, really, just the fact that I was able to watch Usual Suspect and Brick, knowing there's nothing. They're just really, and then I look at those two, and I look at the shit that's coming out, fucking Birds of Prey and all this other garbage, and I'm just like, God, movies just suck. You know what I mean? It's just like, God, there's just nothing good coming out.
The era of good Hollywood is long gone.
Who are you telling? That's why I've watched Hamilton like easily 20 times at this point. Easy. That's not even a joke. That's for sure. It has been on watching it since it's come out like 20 times, because that's just so. But anyway, that, guys, is all I've been doing. And we are back, guys, and it is time for our trailer of the week.
Oh yeah!
I know what you guys are saying. You're like, oh shit, it's the return of a lost segment.
They're still doing that? Wait a minute. No. They're saying, the hell are you talking about? What trailers? There's no movies coming out.
Movies? Yeah, theaters are closed.
Exactly.
Well, my dear listeners, you are absolutely right. Theaters are closed.
Yeah.
And you're also absolutely right. This is not actually coming to a theater, although it was originally obviously planned to come to a theater. But a film we just watched the trailer for is called Antebellum. And it stars, I really should have had this up. I apologize.
Now I have to. All right, so here's the idea.
Here we go. It stars Jenna Malone is in it. Janelle Monáe, I think, is the main. I don't know why they have Jenna Malone first here, bastards. Anyway,
I'm with you.
Yeah.
They mess you up.
Yeah, what the hell is that? Anyway, from what we can tell in the trailer, because it doesn't really go into it.
No, sir. There's nothing we can tell from this. You have to kind of like watch it, because you watch it, you're like, wait, what? What just happened?
There's definitely a mystery. It is fall, according to IMDb at least. They have it listed on the horror/thriller type of film. Successful author Veronica Henley finds herself trapped in a horrifying reality and must uncover the mind-bending mystery before it's too late. This is coming from the producers of Us and of Get Out. So no, not the director, for the record. So I'm going to sure everybody knows. Not the director. The director is not involved.
No, I'm disappointed.
I'm just saying, because the problem is, that's how marketing works, right? They'll throw the two names of a film. They like this one. We got to, and there's an attachment here. Yes. But no, Jordan Peele is not, unless he was one of the producers. Jordan Peele is not involved in the directing role, but it is definitely
Hideo Kojima.
As a director, sure, why not?
Sure, yeah. I mean, just watch that trailer, you'll be like, oh yeah, I can see it.
I mean, it also looks and feels like Us. Like the trailer looks and feels like the trailer for Us. So I was just like, clearly they're going for a specific look and feel, and there's obviously a mystery behind it. My only issue is, first off, everything looks cool, but my only issue is the mystery, right? It's the setup looks great. It's like I can definitely get behind the craziness of the setup, but there has to be a good payoff in the end. And I think in many ways, these films like this tend to, horror and suspense films tend to let you down in the end. You know what I mean? It's just like it's everything is a beautiful setup and all the mysteries, whatever. And when you finally get to the end, you go, oh my God! So the gardener was doing this the whole time. Come on, I was
gonna ask you honestly. One of my questions was like, because I watched Get Out and I really liked it. I did not watch Us, even though I was interested, but I lost interest the moment you were like, yeah, not so much. I was like, oh really? So I was gonna ask you, first of all, was Us good or decent, or is it watchable, or is it like nah?
So Us is good in the sense that it is, first off, it's got some really good acting, some really good performances. The let me get the name up here, because I want to make sure I give credit to the actor and actresses behind it. Lupita Nyong'o, you would know her from 12 Years a Slave. She was also in Black Panther, and actually the main actor as well, which was played by his name is Winston Duke. He actually was also in Black Panther. He played the guy, the tribe that kind of had the gear and everything that looked like gorillas. Yeah. That in the end becomes like friends with Black Panther and all that.
Yeah.
That's him. The main big guy, right? Mm-hmm. So him and Lupita. Lupita, I can't remember her name in that movie, but it doesn't matter. The point is she's in it as well. The movie is good, but it's just one of those things where the payoff is one of those you're either going to be cool with it
Mm-hmm.
or it's going to leave you like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? And it kind of left me with what the fuck, and I was just like, I didn't know. I didn't
And
know. I did know, but I also didn't know what they were trying to do. And then, of course, when I seen some of the director commentary, I was like, okay, now obviously this is clear because the director's telling me, and now it does make a little more sense. But at the same time, I didn't get it from the film. I had to kind of go past that. So, that said, did see it in theater. Also watched it again after. I think it was on HBO, something like that. And I did it with the intent to say this film has gotten good critical reviews, and I'm just like, I need to. I may have to see it again. You just kind of. And again, enjoyed the performances, enjoyed the mystery, enjoyed the things behind it. The cinematography that he brings to a lot of the scenes is great. Jordan Peele. And it's just the payoff. It's just the payoff. And if the payoff makes, like, if I feel like it makes sense to me in the end, then I'm cool with it. And in the second viewing, now that I kind of understood the angle he was going for, I still left it like going, well, I get it, but it just, based on the setup, it didn't, it's like the setup was just marvelous and really out there. Very, and he's big, by the way. Jordan Peele is into Twilight Zone. I think he's doing the new Twilight Zone series on the CBS.
Nice.
Whatever. So because of that, when I look at it from that angle, I go, well, then yeah, this can easily be a film level episode of Twilight Zone, because this is what it feels like. You know what I mean? But at the same time, a lot of Twilight Zone episodes at the end can leave you like, well, okay, well, that was odd. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's great, like the whole setup and the mystery behind it, but sometimes you can be left with that, and that's kind of how I felt with Us. Can I recommend it? I honestly, yeah. I mean, there's no harm in watching it as long as as long as you don't spend money. Don't go buying the film because But at the same time, if it's a rental, sure, you could do it. $3-4, however Prime has it. Yeah. There's nothing to lose because the mystery and the setup and the acting all are good. The writing is all good. You know what I mean? So, but just for me, again, it was the payoff in the end. And who knows? It may ring differently for you. It may be like, immediately you get it, you understand it. Who knows? Who knows what the game? And you may come at it from a different angle. So, anyway, we're talking about Us here, but the movie that we're talking about, Antebellum, looks and feels kind of like that they're trying to go for that. But that I think is the most important part. That mystery has to have a satisfying conclusion. And it doesn't have to be a conclusion, unlike Mr. Santos here, who has to have an ending. For me, for instance, the ending of It Follows to me made perfect sense, and I get it because why would we suddenly? Well, I'm not going to spoil it here for anybody, but why would we suddenly, after the centuries as this entity has been around, this random girl is going to actually figure it out? Like, no, no, the entities. Spoilers.
And you even did it the worst way possible. Also,
I know, no spoilers, but
spoilers. But oh shit, what I just mentioned, spoilers. You might as well just edit this whole part out.
I think I might, or at least edit it in a way. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, that said, to me that was a satisfying ending, even though, it can be argued, it didn't need a sequel. It's like Jason, right? It's the same thing. Jason survives at the end, and he takes, it looks like she's killed him, and suddenly she gets pulled into the lake, and that leads to a sequel. And let's be real, the Jasons after that weren't very good. You know what I mean? The one-off leaving you hanging can sometimes be more fearsome than the satisfying ending, and sometimes that's So anyway, for this movie, who knows what the actual mystery is. But that said, it's the setup definitely looks interesting enough.
It does look interesting, and I will highly encourage you guys to watch the trailer, because it definitely, even though it's not a Jordan Peele movie, but it gives you that that feel. Like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this could be something special, and like, hey, Get Out was awesome, and I'm willing to watch us with an expectation. Who knows? I might enjoy it quite a
You
bit.
may like, yeah, exactly, yeah, and many people did. So I
Yeah,
mean, you wouldn't be by yourself. So,
yeah.
yeah.
You're the only
So
one
this
that likes
actually
bad endings. So, and by bad I
exactly
mean like poorly executed endings or non-endings.
those endings that just don't make it still don't do anything. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
So this particular one, for the record, will be available on video on demand, as opposed to the theaters, obviously for obvious reasons. And it'll be on September 18th. So we've got a little time here for it, but yeah, look forward to that. It is now time, guys, for our useless news that you can use, and I'm going to go ahead and start off here, if it's okay, sir.
Okay, fine. I had something that was gonna excite you, but whatever.
Well,
You
I
start.
just kind of wanted to segue to something in the realm of what we were just talking about, so that's
Okay,
why I
okay,
kind of
that's
wanted
fine.
to.
Also, I was
So
joking. I got nothing. So
fair enough.
you
Yeah,
go
fair
while I
enough.
reload.
Mulan will actually hit theaters in countries without Disney Plus.
What?
Uh, yes, yes. But in countries such as ours that has Disney Plus, the live action Mulan will come to Disney Plus. Um,
Okay.
this is a remake of the 1998 animated film and was supposed to hit theaters, but it got pulled when the COVID-19 pandemic hit the United States. Since then, the movie's release date has been pushed out further and further throughout the summer. And on July 23rd, Disney removed Mulan from the release calendar altogether. During an earnings call today, this is on the article on August 4th, reading from Polygon. Today, CEO Bob Chapek announced that Mulan would be available on Disney Plus on a premium access basis on September 4th. On the same day, the film will also be released in theaters in countries where Disney Plus is not available and where theaters are safely open. So,
Which is nowhere.
which is should be nowhere as far as I understand. But
Mhm.
previously, Disney skipped theaters for Artemis Fowl and expedited the Disney Plus drop dates of Onward, Frozen 2, Star Wars Rise of the Skywalker. Unlike those titles, which were just available with a regular Disney Plus subscription, Mulan will be available on a premium access basis, which Chapek says will cost $29.99 in the United States. Putting big blockbuster titles on Disney Plus isn't a decision studios can make easily. So I'm going to
Wait.
share that
So
article.
wait. So if when it says it's on a premium basis, do they mean you have to shell out more money even though you're subscribed to Disney
Yep.
Plus?
Yep.
Really? Oh no, that's
Yep.
shit. Then I thought I was like, oh, well, that doesn't sound bad. I mean, it makes sense. If anything, this is kind of too generous on Disney's part. who, who am I kidding? I mean, come on. I should have known better. Come on. Of
The
course, they're
phrase
gonna make you
itself.
pay on top of paying. Of fucking course, because
So,
Disney is nothing but the Activision of general media. I mean, let's be real. Come on.
so I am
Wow.
of two minds on this. First, I really get both sides.
Uh,
But I have to say, I kind of lean on the side of the business. I get it. You know what I mean? The movie is, how do I say that? The movie basically, first off, it was the reason they kept pulling it is they really want to put it in the theater because that's where the money is.
yeah. Right.
It's where they will be able to, at minimum, try to get back the money that they put into it, right? Because
Yeah.
it's,
Which
it's
that
like
would be a
any other
failure
thing.
if they just break even. That'd be a failure because that's not the point
Correct,
to making
correct.
the
And
movie. So.
putting it just based on the subscription service will immediately become that failure that they're talking about because the
Yeah.
subscription service is only $7.
Right.
And with the most recent release of Hamilton, they probably already peaked at the maximum that they were going to get with those subscriptions, and they're probably looking at those. That's honestly, they probably were looking at those numbers, going, yeah, this is not going to make back. And remember, the film is already made. It's already paid its actors. It's already paid the production. This is just really, hey, we need to get some of that back.
We need to get the money. Sir, keep talking for like 10 seconds. I'm going to replace my battery real quick.
Okay.
Keep talking.
Sure. And so realistically, I get the main reason why they would want to do this is they've already put into it. That's why they've been holding off. They've been pushing it out and further and further and further, and then just realize, man, we don't have a choice, because if we don't release it at some point, and this is what the main thing that I wanted to get to is right now. It's like I think of a subway station in New York, and every whatever, you have a train coming by, you have a train coming by, you have a train coming by. Well, when you stop one and you hold it for too long, you have multiple trains, basically backed up. Exactly. So what happens, right? When they finally release those trains, the train stations are starting getting ridiculously full. Those first few trains are going to be filled with the rim, but those final few are going to be much emptier because they're just filling in. So it's the same scenario when you look at it when they finally have theaters open. All these films that have been sitting waiting are just going to come flying out. And oh, by the way, they haven't stopped making films. The production companies are still out there making films and TV shows. So all these things are just going to be, and at that point, none of them are going to make their money back, because now you're going to have an overabundance of films, and not many people are going to be going. You still have people who don't have money to be going out like that. You know what I mean? So when there. Yeah, exactly. Even if they say, oh, hey, the pandemic's controlled. Well, they said that before. Yeah. So I get it, and is $30 a lot? I don't know. I mean, you and I spend more than that just on the tickets to go for two people.
True.
Yeah.
I mean? So that's the point. I mean, when you get a whole family, to enjoy it, then no. If anything, it's well. Now it really depends. I'm gonna let you finish. But I was just gonna say it part of the whole theater experience is that screen, is being outside the house, is the popcorn, is the the amenity of doing something over the weekend, which you can't compare with, well, we're just gonna watch the movie on the same TV where we watch the 11 o'clock news, and we're just gonna heat up the pop secret popcorn that has been sitting there for over a decade already.
Those are actually pretty good.
I know they are. They last forever. That's hence the joke of the decade, because that we all have one. It's still sitting there. But so there's an argument for, maybe $30 would have been too much, but I mean, they got to do it because they have to recoup. They got to recoup the amount the expensive part.
Correct.
Yeah.
Now
you go. I already talked enough.
The main difference is, like, for instance, Amazon has a lot of movies that have been on what they have it like literally tabbed as early access, right? And these are films that are
terrible name. That makes me think of a movie where the CGI is like wireframe. Actors are not there. Actors are forgetting their lines in the middle of it. They cut. The editing is all messed up. There's no sound. Yeah, that's guys. Amazon. Come on, guys. You should have known. You're going to gaming now. You shouldn't have called it early access.
They should not have. But I will say one thing. A lot of those films, if not all of them that have been doing that, have been like $20, $19.99, as opposed to $29.
That's a fair price. That's the price I was thinking when I was making the comment.
So here's the difference, though. That's the price for that rental. And let's say you want to rent it again. Well, you got to pay another $19.99. You know what I mean? Here with Disney Plus on Mulan, once you've paid for it once, now it's part of your service, and you can watch it again as many times as you want on your service. So
Which only benefits
that's
the people that rewatch movies, and I'm not one of them.
well, that may be true, but you can also have, and those people who come over who want to be fucking whatever. Well, hey, guess what? We watched
That's
Mulan.
true.
If you guys want to check it out, so that's ways of kind of getting around that. Like, hey, I have the service, and here, I actually paid for it. So there's ways around that. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, yeah.
it's not locked behind, it forever, and not that the ones on Amazon would have been locked there forever either, because obviously eventually they just become a regular rental price. But I get the reason behind it, and frankly, the moment I saw that it was coming to that, even at the $29.99, I was like, oh hell yeah, I'll watch that. So first thing I said, without a doubt, without a hesitation, I was like, hell yeah.
Hell
Like I
yeah.
said, when we go to the movies, and it's just, if it's you with I pay for my wife, you pay for your wife, but we're paying $35 easily just to walk in the door. You know what I mean? So it's like, hey, and yeah, sure, it's not the theater experience, but right now it's not safe for that either. So it's not like that's an option. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's not an option anymore. So I get it, I understand it, and truth is, they're probably still not going to make the same money that they did when it releases. But I can see more and more companies doing this because, again, with Disney, it makes the most sense because Disney probably has the most backlog of films being held up.
yeah.
Other companies probably don't have that many films. You have like Tenet, which is the newest film from Christopher Nolan, and he is adamant not to do it on streaming. Because he doesn't like streaming. He believes in the theater experience.
Yeah.
So you will never see, well, for now, as far as he's concerned, you will never see a Christopher Nolan film made for Netflix or made for whatever without having a theater release, because he believes in the theater experience. And so he is adamant he does not want 10, but at the same time, it may not be his decision. You know what I mean? Because again, the company's holding on to it. Actors are paid, directors already paid, Mr. Nolan's already been paid. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The company who filled the bill is still waiting for their return on their investment, and it's just sitting there as a.
I mean, it's an experiment. I mean, if this ends up being like overwhelmingly positive, suddenly they make a lot of money for it. Then that's when we could go. Wait a minute. This was kind of overpriced to begin with, and but we don't know because it has never happened before. So
true. Yeah, this is uncharted territory. Yep.
Yeah, I guess it's a way of testing it. All right. Okay, fine. You know what? You convinced me. We're gonna keep it in the movie train. In the moving train. I got some news here courtesy of your sister.
Oh snap.
Dirty Dancing sequel starring Jennifer Grey has been announced 33 years after the original hit the theaters. The actress will star and serve as an executive producer in the sequel to the hit 1980s romance film.
Wow.
Yes, I was kind of like just like glancing Facebook, and I saw that. I was like, wait a minute, what? That's news. Jennifer Grey is about to have the time of her life all over again. Wah, wah. A sequel to the hit 1980s romance film Dirty Dancing has officially been announced 33 years after the first film was released in theaters. Per their Dateline, Grace, who is 60, who started in the original film as Frances Baby Houseman, will return for the film, where she will also serve as an executive producer. Though plot details remain under wraps, Lionsgate CEO John Feldheimer confirmed the news of the film to the publication, referring to it as one of the worst kept secrets in Hollywood. I didn't know, but then again, I don't follow like Hollywood trends or anything like that. He added that the film will be, quote, exactly the kind of romantic nostalgic movie that the franchise fans have been waiting for, and that have made that have made it the biggest selling library title in the company's history. End quote. So nostalgic, so romantic nostalgic movie, huh? So they're gonna, so this is what's gonna happen. You know, they're gonna do a digitally CG rendered baby,
Oh
and
god.
she's gonna be dancing dirty all over again, but as her younger self. You know,
Oh my god.
it's gonna take place in the future. No, I'm kidding. Oh, and yeah, that was honestly that was a piece that I wanted to bring up because I found that interesting and keeping it in the
Wow.
news. But okay, let
Keeping it
me.
used. Oh, all
Yeah,
right.
yeah,
Oh,
I got a few
okay.
things, so let me get this one out of the way because I'm excited about this particular one. Doom Eternal's campaign expansion has been announced, or has it been announced? I mean, I guess they confirm, but we haven't seen trailer or teaser or anything like that. Bethesda and its software has announced a single player campaign expansion for Doom Eternal as part of QuakeCon's at home. That's what they call it, QuakeCon at home. There's a tweet says introducing the upcoming campaign expansion for Doom Eternal, the Ancient Gods, Part One full trailer revealed at Gamescom. A full reveal will be part of Jess Keighley's opening night live at Gamescom 2020 on August 27. But the id Software team did reveal that the expansion will be called the Ancient Gods. The story will be split into parts, and we will see some of Part One at the opening night
Hmm.
live. The story of the Ancient Gods will revolve around the imbalance of power in heaven and how the Doomslayer fits into that problem, presumably by ripping and tearing demons. Well, I will imagine that he's not being sent there for peace talks.
These talks have ceased, my friend.
I would,
Yeah.
if they send the Doomslayer, peace talks have ceased.
Yeah. They're out the window at this point. Yeah.
In addition to the single player expansion, its software is also working on updates for the multiplayer side of things with ranked competitive mode and other additions. So that's kind of cool, actually. I'm ready to play more. Definitely play more Doom Eternal.
I do? Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not sure if I will tackle this one on the harder difficulty, like I did with
Okay. So
Doom
the other
Eternal,
one.
because even though I was having fun, but I wasn't feeling the badassery because of the,
I
you
miss the
know,
badassery.
I miss the badassery. I mean, don't get me wrong. I might be misremembering because I do remember some parts where I don't know how the hell I was able to pull off the stuff that I did because I was like, I know myself. I know my game style. I don't play that. That's that's not good. You know what? That's aim assist somehow. That's got to be
Mm.
something. But it's one of those things where you completely zone in the zone. Basically, when you're completely in the zone and you're not thinking of what you're doing, you're just doing. And then at the end, when the bell rings, when you kill the last demon, you're like, wow, that was a rush. And that
What a
that was
ride.
fun. What a ride. I know. That part was definitely fun. But yeah, yeah. I'm ready
That's
for
awesome.
more of that.
All right. Guys, this week, if you didn't know, Sony actually had a state of play. And just as I said last week when it was announced, temper your expectations. This is not going to be anything big. Man, was I right. So I'm just going to quickly roll through the announcements that they show. First off, they kicked the show off with an extended look at Crash Bandicoot 4. It's about time. And it looks pretty good. Looks, your updated Crash Bandicoot. From there, they moved on into. By the way, sir, stop me if you want to talk about any of these. From
Nope.
there, they moved on into ION Interactive's Hitman 3. It's going to be getting an exclusive VR mode, but it also will bring VR to the past two games. So the entire trilogy is essentially will be available to play in virtual reality.
Wow, that's impressive. So assassinations in virtual reality.
Yeah, the trailer they showed the first person, him about to use the wire on somebody. It's like, whoa.
That's the first thing that I came to mind when I thought about virtual reality assassinations. It's like me grabbing that wire.
Yeah, that's exactly so.
So actually, so my wife is into pottery now, and to be able to cut the clay, they have to use that type of wire. You know, it has a thing that you grab, and then you just go like that, and you cut the clay. And of course, the first thing I imagine, no, I did not use it on anybody. You know, Jesus, don't call the cops on me. My wife is very well alive. But the first thing that I did when I grabbed it was I was thinking of, okay, this is how I can use this as a weapon. You know?
Yeah. Obviously, most weapons were designed. What happened?
Without a prey. I felt
most weapons were designed usually with a practical application before they became that.
Especially the things that you can use to kill on that game.
Yeah,
it could be like a toilet bowl, sure.
Toilet bowl. Yeah,
it becomes a deadly weapon.
Yeah. The next one they showed off, which is actually probably one of the bigger shockers of the show, indie developer Jonathan Blow has been working on an updated version to his 2008 puzzle masterpiece Braid, aptly titled the Anniversary Edition. Yep. This new port will come with developer commentary, completely redrawn artwork for 4K resolutions, and a bunch of other features. Shortly after the stream, a press release and now confirmed the Anniversary Edition will be coming to everything: PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox One, X Series X, Switch, PC, all in 2021. The next game they showed off was a game it's called The Pathless, and this is from Giant Squid, which is the creators of Abzu. This is their, shall we call it, sophomore outing, their second game. It looked okay. It definitely had Breath of the Wild feels, but definitely not Breath of the Wild. Just kind of had that artistic look. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's an open world title where you control an archer that travels the land and takes on bosses and stuff like that. So it looks pretty cool. And then, of course, from there, they shifted over to Spelunky 2 is actually happening. This will be releasing on September 15th, 2020. So we got a firm release date there for that. The next game is called Genshin Impact. And if you can't tell by the name, it is an anime open world game. At least there's some high. It's very polished for the record, according to this person's for the article I'm reading here. And so my article just closed on me. What the hell? The next one they showed, the next one they showed is actually a little indie title I've been following, and has a follow-up news piece to it. Anyway, it's called Aeon Must Die. It's a beat 'em up that has a very cartoon, but not like cartoon. I should say animated look to it. It looks very heavy metal. And according to this writer, it gives it very strong Tron vibes. Very stylish. I've been following it for a while, just waiting for a release date. They still didn't release a release date, but they showed it off here, so we'll see.
Okay.
Then next game called Anno Mutanium, cyberpunk themed game. Didn't really have a lot other than it was a side-scrolling looking game, which was actually pretty cool. Then they showed off a little bit more of Bug Snacks, which I have zero interest in. Then from there, they transition over to Vader Immortal, which is a Star Wars VR series where it's a VR game coming August 25th. That's really all we know. Remedy had a quick trailer showing the Awe expansion for Control that's coming out on August 27th. Then they moved off to show a game called Auto Chess coming to PlayStation 4 October 31st.
Oh God, Auto Chess is coming. Okay, that's That I don't know if it still is, but at one point I feel like it got huge on PC.
I mean, it may have. It's. I mean, it
It
has
looks
to because I look at it and go, "Who the hell's asking this? And why would you show this in a showcase?" That would be the only reason why. It's like, well, it was
it's
a
of
huge
course
hit
it's
in
a
PC.
PC
Yeah.
game.
Why else would you show a fucking chess game? You know what I mean? Like, get the hell out of here. Anyway, at
I
least
think
that
it's
solves that
huge. Let me
mystery.
tell you.
No, what I'm saying, but at least that solves that mystery because I'm looking at it going, really? You took the time out of this entire presentation to show us chess? Okay.
An
Um,
automatic chess.
yeah, auto chess on top of that. So anyway, the next one they showed actually looks pretty cool. Indie puzzle title called The Pedestrian, coming from PC to PlayStation 4, early 2021. Very cool looking puzzle game for the record. And then they showed off a new title, an IP for PlayStation 5 called Hood Outlaws and Legends. Uh, Not really sure what they were going for here. Looks like a fighting game, but I'm not entirely sure. But
Mm.
it looked all right. And then another one that's coming for PlayStation 5 called Temtem, which is a
Oh
Pokemon inspired game. So
Tenten, that's another. I mean, again, not sure where it's standing right now, but when it came out originally, uh, it was all the rage because people were like, "Okay, this is what we wanted. This is a Pokemon RPG, and it's available on PC. And dude, it's Pokemon. It's better than Pokemon. It's Pokemon, dude. It's Pokemon." And you could definitely see it. When
yeah,
you look at the gameplay, it's like, "Yep, they're going for it."
yeah.
They're
There's no for these two here. There were the only two that basically were PlayStation 5 titles. No mention as to these were exclusives. You know that maybe they'll be coming out. So I have a feeling if they don't mention it, then they're probably not, or at least they're timed. You know what I mean? Coming here first, and then who knows later on.
yeah.
And then they finally finished off the show with showing off some of the Godfall gameplay footage. So we actually got to see Godfall in action and looks all right. I actually shared it onto the group. I know that Eric Root is I can't say fan, but he's definitely, because the game's not even out, but he's definitely, it's caught his eye since it's been released. And so I was like, hey man, check it out. And so far it looks like exactly what he wants. So it's basically a looter,
So it's
not
gonna.
shooter. It's more of a looter melee type of thing but it looks, to me, it looks like Warframe, Destiny kind of type of thing. But all melee. There's no guns. But very similar. You have the difference is your weapons as opposed to your character. So you have your swords, your double swords, your heavy hammer or whatever, something like that, and it looks like a grinding type of game, particularly. And so, but very pretty for what it is. Also very stylized, kind of like Warframe. It's a lot of style in there.
Oh, I hope
But yeah,
the characters don't look like bugs, though.
no, they look like knights, but like knights with faces that don't look like knights, I guess. If that makes
All
sense.
right.
But
Yeah.
again, it's kind of an underwhelming show, but I really didn't expect. Like I said, I'd say they I
No
was like,
price, huh? No PlayStation 5 price
They
or
said it. They said it. We're
they-
just gonna show games, and then suddenly people going, "Oh man!" It's like, no, guys. This is gonna be just some more games for you to snack on, and it's exactly what it was. So
Yeah. All right. Well, there's your PlayStation report.
there's your PlayStation report.
All right. So this was interesting. Kind of came out of nowhere, even though there were some ruminations back in the day, but I don't think we spoke about it. Rocksteady. Remember
Oh,
Rocksteady?
I remember
Yeah.
them.
All right. So Rocksteady reportedly working on a Suicide Squad game.
Mm-hmm.
A news report claims that the Batman Arkham Studio, Rocksteady, is indeed the developer behind the Suicide Squad game mentioned in some domain names registration that came out. According to Eurogamer, the London studio has been working on the project for years, and the Suicide Squad kills the Justice League domain potentially the game's full title as well as a summation of its content.
Wow.
Because of course DC will have the emancipation of Harley Quinn and how the Suicide Squad killed the Justice League and BatmanForever.com. Eurogamer also says that the domains were registered by WB Interactive. That Gotham Knight does refer to WB's Montreal long-rumored Batman Court of Owls game, and that both games will be shown in some respect at the DC fandom event. So if so this is basically a game that there was previously rumors that was going to happen, but no, actually the rumors that came out was that they were working on it and it got canceled at WB
Okay.
Montreal. That's
Yeah.
what that was the original rumors that came out. I don't even remember. I remember hearing about it, but don't remember how long it was. So on August 22nd, we get to know more about this title. I'm certainly interested in seeing what they have to offer. I mean, for better or worse, I mean the Arkham games, at least the first. Well, no, let's be fair. The Arkham games were pretty good. I would say
Oh
they
no,
were
yeah,
great.
for sure.
The third one kind of shat the bed a little bit with by including the scenes with the Batmobile, which felt I understand why they added it and what they were trying to go for it, but the actual implementation of it wasn't superb. But I can
No,
understand where they were
it
going
was
for it.
overdone. It was
It was overdone.
very,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
overdone. Yeah.
absolutely. Also, and they were going a little crazy with the collectathons and stuff like that. Like that's the part where they kind of lost me. And of course, the part that the least savory part of this all is that it's a WB published game, which I just don't trust anything at this point in time. It's sad to say because there are some good games that have come out. I mean, even NetherRealm with the Mortal Kombat and my favorite, the Justice series. They're all part of WB, and I just don't trust WB as a publisher that cares about their games once they're out. They certainly care about marketing them and selling them, but once they're out, the support is like whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
You're on your own.
It needs to have its own legs. Yeah, we're not going to support it. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
we don't
I
care.
agree.
We just don't care,
Mhm.
and that part is like, but this definitely looks like something different. It doesn't look like it's anything tied up to the movie. Thank God, um, which could make it, something that be on my radar. Who knows? We'll have to see if they even show anything on August 22nd that is not just
So first off,
CGI.
yeah, I hope it's not a CGI fucking trailer. But um, first off, if it's anything, I have faith in them to do something that's nowhere near the fucking film. The film is an abomination to films and
To
to
film
entertainment.
and to mankind.
And yeah, just it's
It's
an
it's
absolute
considered a
shit.
war crime in some
Yeah,
countries.
it should be. It should be. In some countries, saying the word Suicide Squad will have you shot. They're just going to shoot you
Wow!
on sight.
Holy
So,
shit!
and it's only because of the film. The sad part is because no one even knows, or not even no, but a lot of people don't even know that it's a fucking actually good graphic novel series. You know what I mean? Because it's gritty. It's people die. You know what I'm saying? You have characters who become part of the squad, and it's called Suicide Squad for a reason because we need them to do a job that's not going to guarantee that everybody's going to come back. You know what I mean? And so that's the amazing part of it. You know what I mean? And when you can write good characters and make them part of your team, think about for a second. I'm trying to think of something. Think about for a second the suicide mission in
Rogue One.
no in
Oh,
although
in
that's over
Mass Effect.
Mass Effect 2, yes. So the suicide mission is Mass Effect. How imperative it was to make sure everyone made it right because you've spent time with them. You've developed a history with them. You start liking these characters and they become part of your squad. They actually become an important part because you start using them in a lot of ways.
Mm.
And then they're gone. And now you have this gap where you realize, one, a character who I decided that I felt like was an awesome character is gone. And two, there goes my support, or there goes my sniper, or they go, that one person who I can count on for a specific reason is not there. It completely rearranges how you have to play the game. If they bring that level of things, this can easily be an amazing game, right? Because Rocksteady is AAA. This is AAA developer who brings top notch graphical fidelity to games and everything. Saying so you're going to get quality from them. The question is, are they going to deliver in that aspect? They're going to deliver. They're going to be faithful to that particular thing. And if they are, this may rival the entire Arkham series. You know what I mean? Because it's like, Batman. Batman's never gonna die. You know what I'm saying? It's like he's the hero. Everything about him. Yeah, he's cool, but you kind of already know what to expect from him. From the Suicide Squad that exists in that world, you don't know, because you don't know these characters. And as long as they're not written to be stupid and fucking irritating like the characters in the film, then they have a shot at making something great. So I'm actually very excited that I saw that. I was like, oh, hell yes. I want in on that. So,
and when you read what the premise could be about, it makes you wonder, like, okay, well, for a fact it's not definitely gonna be that, but
it could be.
But it could be.
It could be. And that's exactly the thing. It's like Suicide Squad, you're going up against the gods. You know what I mean? It's like,
now I'm excited. Now
you see what I'm saying?
Now it tickled my fancy. Because if there's anything that I really like the most is when the traditionally good characters get portrayed as the evil oppressors, because you don't see that often, because everything has to be fucking Disneyfied. So if you get me a story where, hey, you know what, Superman is it's
no, yeah, it's not
something like that. I know it's nothing. I have no idea what it is, but when I look at so for example, they released an image and it shows the Suicide Squad logo, which is inherently in the form of a crosshair of sorts, and it's pointed directly at a dejected looking Superman. Not the whole thing. Like I couldn't tell at first it was Superman until I started looking closer. And it's like, oh yeah, that's a cape. That's his famous hair. Yeah, that is Superman. All you see is like a shadow almost, but still you recognize it. So I'm thinking like, oh man, how awesome would that be if they went that route? But who knows?
I mean, if they if they detour from this route, that this is clearly the route that they're going, which again is the purpose of it, and that is what the film was showing, and that is what the purpose of it was. It was to do things and to go against these super beings, because again, we call them superheroes. In that world, they're just super beings. We don't, they are labeled heroes and they're labeled villains at the same time. And we could be talking about Superman. You know what I mean? We could talk about Batman is almost always fucking labeled as a fucking villain. So, that's the whole deal. And so this squad is controlled by the government, and it's like government control trying to be put onto these heroes. But as long as they view it from the person that's in that group, because again, none of them want to be there. They're there against their will to do this job. They're if you don't do it, then you get killed. You know what I mean? So it's like you don't have an option. So when you look at it that way, yes, I agree. It's a great setup. And I have faith in Rocksteady to deliver the looks and the feel of it. And
to have learned their lessons from Arkham.
From Arkham, yes.
Arkham
Knight. Yeah,
Arkham Knight was what I meant to say. Yeah. Yeah, Arkham City was good, and Arkham Asylum was excellent. All right. Well,
I was gonna say my last piece is Keanu Reeves will return to the John Wick franchise for a fifth film. Lionsgate confirmed on Thursday. Reeves is scheduled
not even out.
Who are you telling? Reeves is scheduled to shoot John Wick 4 and 5 back to back. Sometime early next year. This is by Lionsgate. Lionsgate originally announced a fourth film on May 2019, just as John Wick 3 Chapter 3, Parabellum, was bowing in the movie theaters. John Wick Chapter 4 was originally scheduled to hit theaters May 21st of 2021, but the film was obviously delayed due to COVID and a lot of what is what I'm saying. So it delayed this now to May 27th of 2022. And so because of that, they are just going to film them both back to back, which makes perfect sense. Lionsgate has also two John Wick spin-offs in the works with a Stars television series called The Continental, which I kind of interested in because the Continental is such a
Yeah,
fascinating thing.
yeah, it is.
Um,
It is
yeah,
totally.
and another movie called Ballerina, which I don't know, a planned expansion of the franchise about a younger assassin. And so, yep, that's
Yeah,
that's it.
hey, nothing is not that there's anything wrong with more John Wick. It's more like okay, you made it into a
I think
franchise that is kind of crazy, and now it kind of like it's starting to lose its what made it special basically. That movie was fine with just the one and maybe
they
the
should have
second.
ended it.
Yeah,
The three should have been should have been the ending.
oh, it should have definitely been the ending because
Yeah,
at that point I was already not very thrilled with how the third one went after all, and having a fourth one is like, come on, and you haven't finished the fourth one, and you're already talking about the fifth one without knowing how
they
the
haven't even
fourth one might
started
be.
the fourth one. The fourth one's not
Received.
even filming until next year.
Wow.
So yeah, this is really real. They're like, hey, what it is probably is that they finally got the script and said, you know what? We can
Yeah,
probably make one or two things. Either we can expand this to a fifth, or the story's too big. We can split it up into two, which
yeah,
is never good for the record. But I guess we'll see. We'll
yeah.
see.
All right. Well, I have a piece of news. This should not come as any surprise to anybody that knows tech already, but Apple are fucking pricks. There, I said it.
El Surprise.
Yes. Apple says Xbox, Stadia streaming apps will break the App Store's rules, and therefore you can't have them on the App Store. Google Stadia's app can't stream game on iOS, and yesterday Microsoft said that its new xCloud streaming service wouldn't be coming to Apple devices either. Turns out there's a pretty concrete reason for both of these omissions. Apple's are assholes.
Enough said.
In a statement released to Business Insider earlier today, Apple says the App Store was created to be safe and trusted, place for customers who discover and download apps, and a great business opportunity for all developers. Before they go on our store, all apps are reviewed against the same set of guidelines that are intended to protect customers and provide a fair and level play field for to developers. That was the bullshit that was spewed by an Apple representative, an Apple apologist, if you will. Though Microsoft and Google would be submitting a central streaming app for Apple to review, they wouldn't be submitting every single game available on the service, which seems to be the main sticking point here. So let's see. There was an update actually. Microsoft has come out today with a more strongly worded statement. And the statement is, let me say, hold on, let me check. Okay, there's a lot of fucking tweets now. I feel like I'm gonna. Let me see if this is Apple. Let me see if this is Apple. It says, strong new statement from Microsoft about Apple's App Store policies. Our testing period for the Project X Cloud preview app for iOS has expired. Unfortunately, we do not have a path to bring our vision of cloud gaming with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate to gamers on the iOS via the Apple Store. Apple Store Apple stands alone as the only general purpose platform to deny consumers from cloud gaming and game subscription services like Xbox Game Pass, and consistently treats gaming apps differently, applying more lenient rules to non gaming apps, even when they include. And holy shit, my thing just crashed on me. Not crashed, but I pressed the Twitter link and it just took me away to the Twitter link.
I hate it when that
Directly.
happens.
And hold on, let me see. Uh, Yada yada yada. Anyway, we believe that customers should be at the heart of gaming experience, and gamers should tell us they what they want to play, connect, and share anywhere, no matter where they are. We agree. Anyway, the whole thing is, and I don't mean to sound fanboyish here, but I am so fucking glad that I'm out of that ecosystem. People were telling me, you were telling me, Mad Dog. People were telling me when I was a blind Apple, fanboy, it's just too restrictive. It's just too restrictive. And I'm like, no, but you see, the design language is better. It's easier. I like it. This and that. Although I cannot hold it. I cannot deal with it anymore because of the restrictive nature of it,
Mm-hmm.
of Apple deciding what you should get on the platform. Granted, it is their platform. They can do whatever the fuck they want. Well, as a consumer, I can do I can do whatever the fuck I want, and I will invite you, if you don't, if you're not an advocate of restrictiveness, to go ahead and jump ship. There's a lot of Apple, of Android devices now that are right. And this is just me speaking. This is not the words of Mad Dog. Although I'm sure he agrees. In a sense, maybe not at the level, but in a sense, in spirit at least.
I
Uh,
do. For
there's
the
a
most part.
lot. There's a lot of Android devices out there that will rival the new iPhone, whatever it is, and it is called freedom of choice. Just get there. And Apple, stop being such dickheads. You know that this is not about. It's never about protecting the consumers or anything like that, because that has never been your mo. You fucking pricks. This is all about, hey, you want exorbitant royalties paid to your majesty, uh whoever the fuck is the CEO right now, because I can even care less to mention his name. It's not Steve Jobs.
Yeah, he passed away,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
It's always about that at the end. It's about, you're probably asking Microsoft and Google Stadia and all streaming things like, hey, you gotta pay this exorbitant, ridiculous royalty. Oh, and by the way, it needs to be per game that you want to put on the store. It's the same old why. Don't get it twisted. Apple. It's not like they care about it. No, nor should they, because at that point, guess what? They're fucking censoring at that point. They're
Yeah,
fucking
pretty much.
censoring.
I agree.
So yeah, there's parental, there's parental, uh, what's it called? The
Settings.
features. Yeah, the
Hmm.
parental settings on phones for a reason. you know.
Yeah, and they actually work pretty well, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So
Or
when done correctly,
maybe
yeah.
they don't work on the iPhone, and that's why they're like doing this. It's like, oh no, we can't, we can't have
Maybe,
kids playing the next Halo. Oh no.
because that's true. Yeah, damn.
Assholes. Oh, hate Apple, bro. Yeah.
I can feel the tension finally, like loosening up, and you're like,
Yeah.
Apple.
And it's because I was one. That's the problem. For the longest time, I was one, and then I
Yeah,
opened my eyes. It's like I disconnected from the matrix and saw the world for what it really is.
yeah.
Who knows?
All right, guys. Sorry, I don't have any more pieces. Do you have anything else?
You know what? Let me see. Dust of Disrespect is streaming again for those who are interested. Uh, oh yeah, the Horizon Zero Dawn PC port. The Horizon Zero Dawn is out now on PC. I don't know is as of the day one patch how things are, but I can tell you that when the game got released for reviewers, there was a lot of reports that this port was ultimately shit, which is outstanding, like ridiculous to think about when just not a couple of weeks ago we got Death Stranding, which I think it's a refinement of the Decima engine. Like they have
Mm-hmm.
to do something to make it
Yeah.
open world. I don't, it's supposedly the Decima engine. It's amazing when tweaked properly and when worked properly and when the proper port gets done, like Death Stranding was on PC, which looks great. Look that game looks and runs fantastic. So obviously you were expecting the same level of quality here put on Horizon Zero Dawn, a big title. A lot of people are that are even people that have played it on Sony already.
Mm-hmm.
They are okay with double dipping because they're thinking of, well, I want to have this experience again, and I want to see the enhancements, whatnot. I want to run it at this resolution and at this frame rate and whatnot. And nope, nope. Digital Foundry made their analysis of the port, and it turns out that they concluded that I thought it was a little harsh, but they say that there's not a machine out there that could run this game at 4K, 60 frames per second, not even 30 frames per second. And I was like, ouch,
Really? Oh,
that
dear
is
Lord.
wow. And mind you, they were testing it with top of the line machine, top of the line graphics card and system and all that. And apparently it was not that just it was not that it run like crap all the time, because it was not. And I could see all the reviews, the video they showed. You look at it, you're like, yeah, that looks exactly like I'm imagining it. A game running on the computer, 60 frames per second. That looks smooth. That looks fine. But no, it's the fact that it's not consistent. It cannot deliver that level of detail consistently, and it also does some weird shit where for example the background and everything on a, let's say, on a cutscene is moving at 60 frames per second, but the facial animations are running at 30, and you can tell it gives the impression of I don't know, like a caricature or something.
Wow.
I, I don't know what the name of it, but someone described it, or they describe it as looking like Wallace and Gromit. I don't know what that is. Oh
Oh,
god.
wow. You don't know what that is? Oh, okay.
Or maybe I do. I
It's
just forgotten.
Yeah, yeah. You might, if you look at it. Basically, Wallace and Gromit is one of those stop motion animated films.
Oh wow.
And I'm sure you've seen the type before with because they have a specific look
Gumby.
to
Like Gumby.
well, Gumby, yeah, but these particular one has a specific look to their characters, so that's
Oh,
crazy.
that's
Damn.
that's great. I mean, how you guerrilla? What's it called?
Guerrilla Games, yeah.
Guerrilla game. How do you fuck your port so bad? Like, what happened? Like, I don't know. Supposedly there was a day one patch that was released, and to this, I don't know how it well it has fixed, and it does seem like things that could actually get fixed with a patch. It's just very disappointing to see it released in that
And her,
state,
yeah,
because it's
that's
and
crazy.
then of course, we got the big one that we're just gonna leave for the hot topic. So take us
Oh, yes. All right, guys. Give us a moment. We'll be right back with our hot
hot
topic.
topic. Movies about
Yeah,
back in
yeah,
the 80s and the early
yeah. And then
90s.
we were, dude. There's if you have not seen this, and chances are you have not. So it's called.
Oh well, you know
What is
me.
his name? Oh, I know you've heard of the movie Outbreak. You may not have seen it, but you've heard
Yeah.
of the movie Outbreak, right?
No, I actually saw Outbreak, believe it or not.
So this one is called Contagion. Have you seen Contagion? Probably not.
I think I did. Yeah, that was the most recent. Conti-
Well, more recent than the other one.
con-
Contagion was 2011. Um,
Contagion. Yeah, dude. This of course at the beginning of the pandemic, everybody saw this fucking movie.
yeah, every honestly, it was
Back
like
in
the most.
March,
Yeah, yeah. It was
everybody
like
saw this
the
fucking movie. Yep.
it was like the most watched film, and it's just like, why
Yeah,
would
that's
anybody
when I
watch
saw it.
this? Did you? Oh, you saw it then?
That's when I saw it. Of course.
Of course.
It goes to show when I say
Oh my
everybody
god,
watched it, it's like it be included.
dear
Of
Lord,
course
I
I
would
was.
never
They
have
fucking
guessed that.
nailed it. They were talking about social distancing back then, and I was like,
Yes,
holy
yes,
shit. That was 2011, I think, right?
dude. They were talking about social distancing during the Spanish flu.
Oh
The
yeah.
Spanish flu pandemic. Yeah, even then they were like keep your distance, and people
Yeah.
wearing masks and all this stuff, and no one was complaining about their rights being taken away and all this other
Oh
stuff.
fuck
So,
those bricks, please.
I know. All right,
All right.
we guys, believe it or not, are back, and we are ready for our hot topic of the week.
Hot topic.
Hot
Hot
topic
topic.
again is guys, is exclusivity a bad thing? Wait, that may not be the exact title, but that sounds
That's
close.
the title we're going for
We're
because
gonna go with
what
it
the
for now.
hell?
Yeah, no,
Let's
actually, yeah,
make it that. How about that?
yeah, exclusivity, bad thing. That is actually the title. How about that?
Exclusivity. It's bad. Game.
Okay.
Game.
All right, sir. This was actually your suggestion for it, and I feel one obligated, and two, I'm kind of leaning on the other end as well. So I'm probably going to be labeled a fanboy and all this other bullshit. But I'll let you go ahead and put in
This
your
suddenly got interesting.
put in your put in your because this was your suggestion for the hot topic, which I
Yeah.
didn't disagree, and you gave me a lot of things to review, and I love it. I love it when I have stuff I can actually sit back and research on, and I was like, yeah,
This
fuck
is a
yeah, let's do
this,
this.
this is an interesting topic because, or at least in my opinion, it is because I feel like we have spoken about this before, but
Yeah.
it's some it. I feel like this is something that has many layers. Of course, we have spoken about exclusivity in the past. We have first party exclusive. I don't think anybody argues about those being exclusive because that is by definition the fact that they are the first, they're from the actual platform holder, made by the actual platform holder. Um, it is the right to be on the
Yeah.
actual platform, Although having games from a particular platform holder appear on other platforms, other consoles, for example, in this case, is not unheard of. You got the
Mhm.
example of Minecraft. See, Microsoft would do that when there is an opportunity to really exploit. And I don't mean this in a bad sense, even though it sounds horrible because I use the word exploit. But take advantage of the fact that hey, this is something that is universally accepted. Kids play this. Everybody likes it. Obviously, a lot of kids have Nintendo system. Let's put this shit on Nintendo because it just makes sense. You know, Minecraft is a property of Microsoft. I don't know if you guys know, but it wasn't. I know it wasn't at the beginning, but Microsoft bought the rights to Minecraft all completely. They own it. If you go to play the Minecraft game on whatever platform you see, even Sony, you say it has the copyright Microsoft. Da, 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 da. So it's not unheard of. Um, and it has service Microsoft very well with that game has been a very high revenue stream for them. Anyway, then you have the games that are not made by the platform holders but are only appearing on a particular console because for whatever reason it could be hey the
Second party.
resources.
Mhm.
Yeah, well, it could be second party. I could sort of understand, and I kind of lump them with first party in the sense that well I'm not owned by the platform, but obviously I've been getting the support has been from this platform, make it in particular, and therefore, and our resources are just for this, are just to support, this version of the game. You know, again, there have been cases where a game comes out and it's so successful that suddenly it's like it'll be foolish not to expand, not to bring it to other, to other consoles or PC or whatever. So, but again, doesn't happen that often.
Mhm.
Uh, you have the exclusivity that I virtually oppose, which is the one where, well, this we have chosen. There's no reason. There's no uh yeah, there's no reason for this to be on any other platforms. This is just, hey, this company, whether Sony or Microsoft, paid us a bunch of money not to appear on the competitors, side of things.
Mhm.
So we're only gonna release this game on Xbox. To give an example, we had a very bad, something that was stupid and dumb when Microsoft announced the 1 year exclusive, because now time exclusives are another thing. 1 year exclusive with
Tomb Raider.
Eidos, yeah, Eidos, for the Tomb Raider to appear on Xbox, for a whole year and not have, even though this, I think that was the second one, right? Rise of the
Right.
Tomb
Yeah.
Raider,
Rise of the Tomb Raider.
or
Yeah.
does Rise is the first one?
No.
No,
Tomb Raider is the first one. There's
Tomb Raider.
nothing else. Yeah, it's just
Okay, gotcha.
Rise of the
Okay,
Tomb Raider is the second one. Yeah.
gotcha. Okay. So Rise of the Tomb Raider, that was dumb, and I hated that, because again, no fucking reason for not to appear on the other platform other than, hey, we just need to secure it so that the other party doesn't have it, so that we have, something. And in this case, you know Microsoft wanted its own Uncharted, because apparently all their, they were incompetent of producing an Uncharted,
Their own
competitor,
version.
or
Yep.
they were, or they were doing, or they were doing something else, and they didn't plan for how successful was gonna, Uncharted ended up being for Sony, and yada yada, and they decided to go that route, which, again, business is terrible. uh and then finally, we have the Destiny thing, where uh they release on all platforms, but if you have it on PlayStation, you get special perks and things that you don't get on the other console. Or at least you didn't end up getting in until, like, it didn't matter to have to, to get them. Let's say, so it was a time exclusive, but it was so ridiculously separated that by the time you got the weapons that were exclusive to PlayStation, they were meaningless, because some expansion would have already been released and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Now we have a new game, coming out, uh, from Crystal Dynamics,
Dynamics. Yep.
because of Tomb Raider,
Yeah.
of the recent Tomb Raider, actually,
Tales of Breeze. Yeah.
making Spider, making fucking,
Marvel's
making
Avengers. Yeah.
Marvel's Avengers, exactly. Thank you. And Marvel's Avengers is gonna be everywhere. It's gonna be on PC. It's gonna be on Xbox One, and PS4. And for some reason, they decided, hey, PlayStation 4 owners, and only them, the privileged, they get to have one of the iconic characters, one of the most iconic characters of the characters of the
Marvel.
Avengers in general, of Marvel. They get to play as Spider-Man, but only here. Fuck Xbox, fuck PC, fuck all our fans on Xbox or PC. And the reason is because it's a marketing thing with Sony. But they don't have this is all done without a solution, or at least somewhat to mitigate, the damage that they're doing
The gap,
to
yeah,
the fan.
the
So
fact that
you get
there's no replacement. Yeah.
you get you know the PlayStation privilege get Spider-Man. You other guys get fucking nothing. You just play us the $60 and you play an incomplete version of the game. Period. And the reason I call it an incomplete version of the game is because this is no longer a situation where, oh well, it's just a weapon. It's just a skin. You get the PlayStation branded skin. It's not that. It is an entire
It's his own
gameplay
character.
portion
Yeah.
element. Yeah, as a character, completely taken out of the equation. Imagine, if you will, if you have the PlayStation 4 version of Destiny 2 was the only one that had the Hunter, and all the other versions, including PC and Xbox, they only have the Titan and the Warlock, or interchange whichever is your favorite one. You get my point,
Mm-hmm.
and so this whole thing, this was news. We didn't bring it on as part of the news because we were going to be talking about it on
Yeah.
on it, and I understand the portion of I understand the business a portion of it. It makes sense on the business on the well, actually, does it? Was what we're gonna discuss, because I can't imagine how this could be defensible. And that is why. So I didn't mean to make you laugh, but but I would like to hear what is the pro argument for this. That I'm interested on finding out
Okay.
what
Well,
your thoughts
first
are
off,
on it.
yeah, let me back up a little bit and go, because you started all the way back with Minecraft, and so I want to. This is impossible to prove, because unless it actually happened this way, we'd never know. The reality is Minecraft was available everywhere before Microsoft ended up purchasing the makers of it, and then essentially purchasing the IP and everything. So I would bet, I mean, easily dollars to donuts, that if this was a Microsoft created thing, like they themselves, whatever, made it, no, you would not see it in any other platform at all, period. So obviously it would be anti-consumer to essentially pull the plug on everybody else who already owned it, bought it before any merger or anything happened. And so obviously that would be a significantly bad look. It was definitely a bad look when they decided to secure the rights to the Rise of the Tomb Raider for the year. However, I understood its reason. It was the reason behind it, while was not, didn't obviously come to fruition for any benefit in their part. I understood the reason why. First off, Microsoft had made lots of closures of their first parties. So they were really at that point down to really the main three, right? We've said it a million times: Halo, Gears, and Forza. That was essentially all that they had. That was, when you think of Xbox, that's all you have. And this was their
trilogy.
Correct. And this was their attempt to say, okay, we can't own Tomb Raider. There's no way they had I mean, sure, maybe they have the money for it, but it would be an exorbitant amount to buy that IP, and maybe not even worth it in the end. So it's like we're not going to buy the IP or whatever, but we're going to try to secure this so we have a reason. So it was almost like a desperation move, because let's be real, as we all know, Xbox was getting trounced and has been trounced the entire time for the majority, if not all, of this generation. So the move makes sense. The execution maybe not so much. It wouldn't have mattered anyway. It's just one of those things where you were already being performed by your competitor, and those people were just waiting. Okay, we'll wait a year. We have exclusives that can have us waiting a year. You know what I mean? So it's not like PlayStation was devoid of anything during that time. They had stuff. We had stuff to play. It's like, okay, we'll
I
wait a
don't think
year.
that was a. I mean, I understand that they had all those games out, but that was not the thought of the fans. Remember, we're talking
No,
about the
no, no.
people that get
Yes,
affected by this, which was the Armando being like, "Well, this is
yes, but
bullshit,
it is
so I guess
bullshit.
I'm gonna have to get it on, on PC."
So you see, yeah, I was gonna say it is bullshit, and I have to call those people out and just say you have other options. You don't have to get the Xbox version. There's the PC version, and that's what he ended up getting.
Yeah,
And
but because he can afford it.
he happened to have
Some
a
people
PC.
don't have that
Yeah,
option. That's what I'm saying.
you're probably right, but what I'm trying to say is that I don't I feel that voice that was yelling, "Hey, this is not fair," was a small, loud portion of the Xbox of the PlayStation community. I don't think that the majority of the PlayStation community were yelling this. The majority of the PlayStation community is like, "Man, that sucks. Oh well, I guess I'll wait the year." You know what I mean? And the other portion of it were like oblivious to the fact that it even happened, because we all know that it's a fraction of the community that's actually involved into the shit that we're into. You know what I mean? To the level that we're at, it's a fraction of it. Most people are just like, "Hey, what's the next game?" They don't even know about it until they start seeing the advertisements about it. You know what I mean? So
They know about Tomb
um,
Raider though.
they would,
They would.
and would, yeah. So I'm saying they would, but it was a drop in the bucket. You know what I'm saying? It didn't affect anything other than what's these people Square. You know what I mean? Because it didn't affect anything but them, because they didn't get the sales that they wanted on Xbox. Xbox didn't move the units that they think that this would move. And in the end, when it finally came to PlayStation, it didn't actually blow anybody away either, because the game is, in the end, the game was,
It's a year old
oh
game already
yeah,
by now.
well, not that, but it was also just okay. It was a good, really good game. I'll leave it at that. It was a really good game. Now, moving it on to the current issue, which is the Spider-Man being only available on PlayStation, and this is most likely not timed at all. You know what I'm saying? Or at least, because again, Sony owns Spider-Man. Anything Spider-Man related that's not merchandise is owned by Sony. So they own that property, and they've made it so that essentially the version for PlayStation is going to have that. And you're right. The crazy part about it is that when you look at everybody's preview of the game, everybody, really is on top, have been mentioning how, hey, man, every character is completely different. Every character feels and moves different. It has a different tactic when you want to handle something, because they've been designed to be that way. And so the thought behind it is like, man, Spider-Man is probably going to be a completely different character as well, because Spider-Man itself won't move like Thor, won't move like Hulk, you know what I mean, and do things completely different. So it makes
But you
sense
mentioned
that
that Sony owns Spider-Man, but I don't think they own the video game rights, because Marvel does.
for
The video
Spider-Man,
game, yeah. I
I don't
mean,
think so. I think Sony owns it.
According to Screen Rant, they
Really?
say, they say, jumping several years ahead of E3 2016, Marvel Spider-Man was officially announced. There is a speech given by Marvel Games head Jay Ong. The relationship between Sony and Insomniac and Marvel, it is stated to simply be in a partnership. The three major corporations were banding together to produce an all-new Spider-Man game. If Sony was the sole owner of the Spider-Man game rights, it would be unlikely that the character would be appearing on anything else that does run on Sony PlayStation. That explains why Spider-Man has made appearances in other Marvel games, such as Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, The Black Order, Lego Marvel Super Heroes 2. Ultimately, it seems that Marvel is the one deciding what games Spider-Man can be featured in.
I honestly, I don't know. I don't. So first off, that sounds like it doesn't sound official. It sounds like that's what it appears like based on the evidence that's been provided.
Well, they're
And I
certainly
can.
not making it easy to understand. If that was, if that was the
That's
case.
why. Yeah, that's why I disagree. I feel, and I don't know. I don't have any fucking information on this, but I feel that if Marvel was making that, so if Marvel had a hand in it, Marvel now being Disney, and we all know that Disney is all about the lowest common denominator, it wouldn't be exclusive. It would be
Mm.
everywhere because it's all about being everywhere and getting all the money. So if that was the case and Marvel's making this decision, then this completely contradicts everything Marvel has done before this and Disney by extension. So that's why I feel this is a property that Sony owns. Sony owns, we all know for sure, Sony owns the film rights to Spider-Man. Period. Marvel doesn't own it. Disney doesn't own it. They want to own it, but they do not. And Sony will play hardball left and right to say nope. And I don't blame them. That's kind of what leading me to the gaming side of it. It's like just the same way I was like, no, Sony, do not let go of it and give it to fucking Disney. And hold on to it and make the properties that you wouldn't need to make from it and do better with it. You know what I mean? License it out to people who can make films better. And the same thing here, license it out to developers who can do something with it. It's the same thing behind it. It's the play that they have in this particular situation. That's why I disagree with it. And again, I have no idea. No,
This looks very.
Probably knows way more than I do on it. But again, why?
I mean, I got more. It does say although Sony now own Insomnia Games, which is true. Sony owns Insomnia Games. Neither company has any exclusive game rights to the Spider-Man character. Nor did Sony ever have said to have the rights to begin with. Presumably, Marvel has owned the video game rights to the superhero this entire time. A temporary partnership between Sony and Marvel is what granted Sony the ability to launch Marvel's Spider-Man as an exclusive on their own platform. It seems that a similar deal was orchestrated to allow Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales to launch on PS5 exclusive. At the end of the day, it seems that Marvel is the sole proprietor of the Spider-Man video game rights. I don't know. That sounds pretty specific.
No, because it's using a lot of words like presumably, and it's like, okay, so it's not
at the
definitely.
end.
No, at the end he's making a statement, but it's still not 100% because everything leading up to that statement was a presumably and appears like, and it's like, so wait, that's what I'm saying. It's like that's in the end, this almost feels like a word salad because it's like, again, or rather, hear me out on this.
Yeah. Okay.
If Marvel really had that thing that saying, hey, that we wanted to, we'll just bring it to PlayStation 4, why would they undercut themselves? And the same reason I would actually go back to Sony is like Sony in essence is, if let's say for instance Sony does own the rights to the video game property of Spider-Man, if they do, they're leaving money on the table, right? Because it's like obviously they own the rights. So if you do own the rights, you would license it out to whoever, in this case Xbox, right? Or it's a weird line because it's like it has to be Sony.
How do you explain Spider-Man appearing on those other games then? Because they will need to have Sony's permission if that was the case. And there's no mention of a Sony deal for Spider-Man Ultimate Alliance or Capcom versus whatever. Or
there's no mention of it, but perhaps it was just they licensed it out. You know what I'm saying? Because those games did.
Well, now you're using perhaps. If I need to.
Yeah, no, true. What I'm trying to say is like that would be the only explanation, that they would have to license it out to them and say, hey, because you're using this character on our side and anywhere it's at, we get, I don't know, 20% of or 10% of the profit. Maybe not that high because it's just one character in a game with a bunch of characters. So somewhere like 5% additional because you're using our character. That'd be the only way. and it would
Also,
make sense.
if you read Crystal Dynamics statement,
Mhm.
they always specify, well, Sony owns Sony owns the movie rights to Spider-Man. They don't say the game rights. They say the movie
The movie
the
rights,
movie
yeah.
rights. Yeah,
We know that for sure.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know. I
So
think
that's what I'm
there's a blurry line. I mean, if that's the case, then Sony's not even to blame, right?
no, I mean, honestly, the blame here lies on Crystal Dynamics. I won't even put it
Yeah.
on Sony, because of course it'll fucking make sense to bring Spider-Man to the Sony PlayStation platform. The fucking platform had the Spider-Man font on the previous generation, so it only makes sense. I get that. That makes financial sense. What does not make sense whatsoever is, okay, well then what does Xbox players get or PC players get? Because this is not a situation of,
Yeah.
well,
This sounds like
this is not the situation where, well, Soul's Calibur, well, the Xbox gets Darth Vader and or Yoda, and the PlayStation got Darth Vader. That's not the situation. This is a situation of, you get an entire character class here that you can only play here, versus you get nothing on the other two platforms. What if
then
I own all platforms?
that's a failure on, in that case. If that's the case, this is what I'm saying. This is why I'm leaning on the fact that, yes, I think Sony has some stake in it, some say in it. They have to. There's just it just makes no financial sense to not bring it to all of them. You know what I mean? It really doesn't. So they have to have some stake in it. They have to have some say, something in the background that they've already paid for and it's theirs, whatever. And it's just like, okay, we don't have the final say, but we have this say. Whatever the case may be, something, they have to have some pull for it to be on Sony. Because again, you're right, they're just leaving shit on the table, and they're not even having a replacement. There's no, hey, you'll have this character instead of whatever. So
I mean, let me think about it. There are a shit ton of other characters that they could have brought as part of the. I mean, shit, make fucking Vision part of it. If you want to give it a shout, just give the Xbox give them. Give them something so it doesn't look like you just literally went one side. Like the ultimate version of this game, and the only version that should be purchased is the PlayStation version. Regardless of, well, what if I, as a PC gamer, I like this game and I want to play it, with the power that I have? No, I can't. I have to limit myself to what I could get on the PlayStation 4. And it's fine, but that was not my choice. But other people don't have a choice. Other people have Xbox, and that's it. And they were waiting for this because they're also Marvel fans. And now they're getting the fuck you from Crystal Dynamics, courtesy of Sony also. So that's the part where the exclusivity part is fucked.
I can definitely see why Sony would do this. And this is why, again, leads me back to the fact that they have some sort of stake in it. And if you have some sort of stake in it and you have some sort of power to doing it, I don't see why you wouldn't exercise it. Now, because obviously you own a part of it. Now, that said, if you do own a part of it and it were to go to a third party, then you only stand to make more money this way. So that's the part that kind of throws me off. But for someone keeping content on their end that they can keep, making that property way more desirable to be on their particular platform, I can't disagree with that statement going, well, I can see why. I mean, Xbox did that with Rise of the Tomb Raider when they were,
and you and I were on the same side. We were like, that is fucked. And regardless of how you feel about Tomb Raider, that is fucked. That is, there's no excuse for it other than, well, it is completely anti-consumer, because everything that is pro the pocket of the companies is gonna be anti-consumer. And we were side by side, so that's what I'm saying. How is this different? Where it's like, well, it's they have to
like
do
I said,
it.
I'm standing on the understanding that that Sony has, like I said, some sort of. I really thought that they had those rights. If they're saying that they don't, although it doesn't seem to be 100% clear either, if they're saying that they don't, then no, I guess my argument doesn't stand up. But if they do, then yeah, I can see them doing that, and I can see why I cannot see why they would not hold on to it. Going back to the Rise of the Tomb Raider, it's like, well, you held it off into a console that had a third, if not a fourth, of the market. So that it just, you know what I mean? You held it off you held it off from the majority, essentially. You know, it's just like, that doesn't make sense. Even from a Square Enix side, like, dude, that really doesn't make sense. I hope that Microsoft gave you a pretty penny, because I feel they may have come out not the losing end of that. The losing end of it, exactly. So because it's like, hey, and this is, I'm not trying to insult or anything like that, but let's just assume that Xbox was a third of the market at that point. So that means at maximum, a third of the market is going to be able to play Rise of the Tomb Raider. Where here, I think it's easy to say that more than 5-6 of the market it has a place, it has the ability to get this game. So just by numbers alone, just going by, look at the business side, I can see why they would do it. But that's why I feel like Sony has something in there, bro. Listen, somebody has something, because it doesn't make sense.
We're gonna go by your feel.
Yeah, I mean, I just doesn't make sense, because if Sony doesn't have anything, then they're saying, hey, this is Crystal Dynamics' decision.
I mean, they have appeared, again, a character they have appeared on many other games, suddenly not appearing on one of the big titles that it only behooves Crystal Dynamics as unless Crystal Dynamics is owned by Sony, not that I know of. Who is it owned by? Is it Square?
Mm-hmm.
Square, exactly. So it behooves. I mean, especially, goddamn, Square already went through the whole Tomb Raider fiasco. So it'll be extra crispy stupid for them to be like, well, we're going to do that again, but this time let's really piss people off, because the Avengers are near and dear, and not having Spider-Man, it's like, well, fuck it. It's like it's the equivalent of, well, Microsoft gets Iron Man, but PlayStation doesn't get Iron Man. How you like them apples? If that was the case,
there is that this time. And again, I'm not trying to insult anybody, but this time they're betting on the right horse. You know what I mean? They're like,
that is not an argument, because think about it.
I still feel that I honestly,
they can either sell it on one console, or majority, or sell them on all the consoles. If you want to talk about high horse, the combined the combined force of Xbox sales and PC sales could easily trounce any sales that it can do on PlayStation, especially for a game that is probably at best going to be a 7. Let's be real.
I mean, that stands to be seen, because nothing of the this seems a little bit. I mean, maybe this is harsh, because I think Rise of the Tomb Raider is better than a 7, but it's very in line with what that kind of went with. But you're right. I don't see anything of this game that looks like it's going to blow me. It's zero interest in it, to be honest with you. I saw the gameplay and I was like, oh, this, I guess that kind of. And then of course, then they started going with the grinding and the loot and getting better. It's like, okay, now you lost me. You know what I mean? So, and not many people were in that type of game anyway. But I mean, so all right. Let me just go back. If Sony is involved, which I'm sure we can all agree they're involved somehow. You know what I mean? If Sony's involved, I can see why they would do this. Why would you not do that? That's why I was saying, if you own the rights, or you have a part of the rights, or whatever the case may be, why would you not exercise that right to keep it onto your console only? It only makes business sense. Will that suddenly sell PlayStation 4s so that people can play this game? Probably not, because we're at the end of this freaking console generation anyway. Is it fair? Is it consumer friendly? No, not at all. Absolutely. There's no arguing that at all. Can I see why they did it? Yes, I can. If they have the rights to it, or they have a stake in that particular property, I can see why they would do it. Why not? If you're able to, you know what I mean? If you're able to say, no, we'll keep it here. And yes, guess what? the best version of this game is only available on this. That's is literally what they've been trying to do this entire generation. Again, I'm not condoning it. I'm just saying, when you look at it that way, it's like the best version of this game is available on our console. Why will we not want that to happen?
Well,
as an owner, let's say if you were a stakeholder in Sony, why would you not want that to happen? That can only
when you said the best version, if you're talking about performance wise, we already know what the best version is going to be.
I'm talking about the content wise.
Content, but what a ham-fisted way of making it the best content. It's like, well, we're not gonna have it, and again, this is assuming that Sony has, a saying, because apparently we don't want to say the rights, a saying in it, which so far all the evidence has pointed to the opposite. For what I've been reading so far, as we've been talking, it seems that the reality is that Sony doesn't get to decide that, because otherwise, if they would have decided, then they would have already made money because you can bet that, I mean, they're not stupid. They're obviously, if they need to license Spider-Man, they would have made money. All the appearances that are made on previous games, they had come out very, very recent, very, very, very recent. And the move move that is showing here again is the anti-consumer movement, that regardless of who, if this is Xbox doing it to PlayStation, or PlayStation doing it to Xbox, or PC somehow, because they're decentralized, so I can't imagine how. But let's say, although a PC, fuck it, because they're gonna mod that shit anyway. So I guess,
for sure.
But in that case, regardless of who does it to who, it is reprehensible. It is, yes, it makes business sense. There's a lot of business decisions that you can make that will fuck the consumer, and just because they make business sense doesn't make it the right choice. If Crystal Dynamics would have, but we're defending every time that Microsoft does it to Sony, then we're defending that, and we surely were.
Yeah, I mean, that's, the whole deal is to say that it's still done. As much as we hate it, as much as we can complain about it, whatever the case may be, it's still done. It happens all the time. It's this is not the first time.
That's what this topic is about. This topic is to discuss: is this right? Is this right?
Honestly,
is it right when
perfect answer then? The perfect answer. What did I say? Is it bad for gaming or for the?
Remember, we only care about the consumers, because that's what we advocate for. We don't give two shits about the companies, unless the mantra I don't. Because I don't care about because I don't care about companies. I don't care if Sony's first and Microsoft is second, or then Microsoft is first and Sony's second. Like, that's not what my alliance is. Yeah. My alliance is with with us, with the gamers, with the people that GG is for.
I would have to, not that I'm anti-consumer or anything like that, but I will easily say, as someone who only is in the PlayStation ecosystem first, I feel that I am too a stakeholder in it, because I'm like, I want this thing that I've invested into, to basically grow and have all this stuff. So yes, I feel like I have a stake in this particular, no, do I own any stock? I do not. I do, but I am a consumer of that. And when you say that it's anti-consumer, it's anti-consumer in general, sure, but it's something they're securing for their consumer, for their particular ecosystem. And when you look at it that way, it's like, well, it's not like it's suddenly saying, hey, the game's not available over there because we're making it exclusive here, even though basically the same argument we made or the same thing we were upset about with Microsoft when they made the entire game exclusive on their end for a year. The game is still available for everyone, but there is an additional reason to be able to want to play it on PlayStation 4. As someone who is invested in a PlayStation 4's ecosystem, I can say, hey, that's great for PlayStation 4 owners.
Well, sir,
and I can see that that's a reason why Sony would make that decision. That at all, if they have even a say in it, apparently, because I don't even know if they have.
Sir,
I swear.
that is probably, and you know that I love you, so you're never gonna hear me make it in the wrong way. But that is the quintessential definition of a fanboy, and that is
It
exactly
could be. Yeah.
what we have been trying. Well, at least I try to avoid ever being labeled. I have no reason
No, don't get me
to
wrong.
not want
Yeah.
Spider-Man to be on on Xbox. Like, why would my brethren need to play just because I feel like, well, I chose because I only own a PlayStation. Keep in mind that would make me, I guess, a stockholder or a
A
stakeholder
stakeholder.
also.
It does.
But
Because you own the product. Yes, it
but I
does.
don't. But I don't own an Xbox because fuck that. I don't play Xbox games right now. Plus I have a PC. But at the end of the day, I care about the people so some of them dear friends of our group that care about that are looking now at playing the inferior version just because some dodos in suit decided to make a business deal that might end up being backfiring because of all the negativity that they're getting already around. Until the game comes out, and if it gets proven that it's shit, then nobody's gonna
Until
care.
7,
But
yeah, exactly.
apparently, it is a good game. So hearing you say those words make me sad because I don't think
Well,
that you believe them yourself.
first off, I want to get this clear out in the open.
Uh-huh.
No, I disagree with your assessment that that's a fanboy statement, because a fanboy statement is to say, yes, it should be on our side and it doesn't
And
need
no
to be
place
on our
else.
side.
Yeah,
Exactly. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I can understand why a business would do that if they have the opportunity to do so and make that decision.
but you don't denounce them.
But should it be on all systems? Yes. I feel Spider-Man should be available, especially if Sony doesn't fucking own it. You know what I'm saying? If they don't own it, then why is it only on this side? It doesn't make sense. So, like I said, I feel that's why I have to go back to say I feel that they have something in there. Now, that said, yes, I feel if it was on all system, it wouldn't matter. The fact that freaking the PlayStation exclusives are suddenly becoming available on PC would light up a fucking family. I can care less. Why not? Give it to them. Yeah, why it should be here. If it were to make it over to Xbox, I wouldn't care either. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm trying to say is that I don't. That's why I disagree.
Join me, brother. Join me in denouncing.
No,
in denouncing what Sony has,
No.
Sony and Crystal Dynamics, because otherwise, if we don't denounce them publicly, then we are accepting it as well. That's how it is. And if that's how it is,
That's
then
exactly how
when
it's
it
going.
happens with Xbox,
And it will.
we will not make a topic tied to the announcement, like when we talked about the Tomb Raider, Tomb Raider shit, because it makes no sense. It needs to cut evenly both ways.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But the difference, again, the difference there is, I first off, I go back and say, if first off, I feel Xbox will do this again, and so will Sony. It's just, this is not new. That's the other thing. This is not new. This is not something that suddenly is starting to happen in this generation. It's been happening forever, and we just assumed that we're so, that the industry is so grown up, and the console makers are grown up, and then this is not something they're going to do anymore, and blah 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 blah. And the reality is, no, that's not the case, because there's always reasons to make something exclusive onto your side, because it makes your product more valuable into the eyes of a consumer. It's to say, hey, you want that game? It's available over there, and it has everything you need to have. It won't have this one thing. Will that one thing make the difference between a great game and a good game? Probably not. But it's still there, and it's still on our
fans, though. It still does for the fan. I still think of
I agree,
the fans of the Avengers
time,
yeah.
I agree. I hear you. But no, I don't think that overall, I don't think that this is. I still think if Sony does own the fucking rights, whatever the case may be, if they do have it, then they're leaving money on the table. Because, like I said, if you own it, then you can license it to another and just make more money. Really, that's what it comes down to. So it makes no business sense. I don't know why they would restrict it and not give it out. To make more money, because why wouldn't you make more money? Why would you leave money on the table? It doesn't make any sense. However, why it's only on this side, I can also see it because, well, again, it's just making your product more valuable. And
Well, there's a new announcement now updated, and it says that
it's coming to Xbox.
CD Projekt Red has announced that a big portion of its of Cyberpunk, it's only going to be exclusive for Xbox, including characters and a whole part of the city. Only on Xbox, not even on PC. The fuckers, can you believe that? Only on PC. Only on Xbox.
Together. You know that they're in bed together.
Yeah, of course. I mean, look at it. They have a fucking console that looks like they're like something come out of Cyberpunk.
Yeah,
yeah, that's kind of shitty. That's shit. I will denounce Microsoft in a heartbeat for that kind of bullshit. If suddenly,
I would say, hey, that makes.
You know what? I will denounce it even if they say it's available on PC as well. And because at this point, Xbox and PC might as well be in bed together. It's available on PC, but not on PlayStation because PlayStation didn't pony up the money. That's kind of fucked up. That is anti-consumer if I ever seen one. Well, I'm okay because I own a PC, so cool.
So you'll be fine.
I'll be fine. I can still play. Fuck PlayStation people, I'm sure, sucks to be you.
There's droves of people who are on that bandwagon and say fuck PlayStation. Look, if they were to do that, would that upset me? Yes, it would. Does that mean that I have to buy the inferior version? No. Does that mean I have to buy a console to get the better version? No, it doesn't. It's like, oh, well, I guess I will not be part of that particular game. And
there you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
literally right? Prove my point. If it happened to you, then I would not buy the game. But
exactly,
it's not happening to you because you get. Because it's a shit move. It's a shit move. It's anti-consumer, and regardless of how we feel, my allegiances are never with the companies. I could care less who is on first. I just want good games.
Who's on first?
I don't care about PlayStation. Nice. Honestly, I don't care about PlayStation. I give two shits about PlayStation. I give three. No, well, let's be equal. I give two shits about Xbox. I like my PC, but sometimes my PC is a dick also, especially when I have to be updating graphics and shit like that. And it's expensive, and I hate a lot of the things about it.
They all have their issues. Let's be real. Yeah. They all have their issues. You have one, PlayStation. They can't fucking figure out their freaking network, and PSN sucks, and the firmware updates and all that bullshit. You have Microsoft, who, for whatever reason, decided to let go of a bunch of first-party studios just to go back and buy a bunch of new first-party studios. You have PC that has, Jesus Christ, pricey everything Excel. At that point. You know what I mean? Everything requires
Excel, PowerPoint, graphic card.
To get something to work. So no,
but I have no stake. That's what I'm saying. I don't have. I have zero stake. No, I don't, because I don't care. If I care, then I would be rooting for one of them. I'd be rooting for I want the PlayStation version of this. I want that, but I really don't. No, because I just want to play the.
I think what you're missing is that it's not the version that gives you the stakes in it. You had already said when we saw everything that Xbox was doing and everything that PlayStation was doing for the next next generation, right? Uh-huh. And you've already immediately said, based on what they have going, I guess I'm going to be PlayStation 5 and PC.
Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt.
Why?
Without a doubt.
Because you feel that if I'm going to invest in something, then I'm going to invest in something that has something that gives me back, right? That makes you a stakeholder into that particular product. That's how that works.
I don't think it does, because if Microsoft suddenly came out with something with the system seller app, I wouldn't do I sold my Xbox to buy a PlayStation Pro. Even though I owned an original PlayStation, I was so fed up that I was like, "Fuck this! I'm gonna sell my my Xbox that I'm not using, and I'm gonna get a PlayStation 2." I will do the same thing on the opposite side in a heartbeat. If the games were there, but it's not because I feel like some allegiance or something towards.
It's just a difference. It's not. I think the blurriness that's happening here is the difference between someone who feels that they're a stakeholder and someone who is a fanboy. A fanboy is going to go down with the fucking ship no matter what, right? It's fanboys, the ones who are sitting with whatever they have available to them, and they can care less what the other side is doing, and it doesn't even that's a fanboy. That's not what a stakeholder is. A stakeholder is someone who invests in something. Like you said yourself, you bought the Xbox, you realize it's not doing what you needed to do, and you sold it so you can invest in something else. That now made you, as you sold your stake in one to buy stake in another. That's all that is.
Fair enough. I agree with that. Now that I understand what you mean by that, I agree with that. So by your words, however, you said because I'm a stakeholder in Sony's platform, I'm gonna want the best versions of that game, or I'm paraphrasing because I didn't record it. I mean, I guess we did record it. I guess we can listen to it later. But by you're saying, well, it almost like, well, it behooves me that the PlayStation is the better version because that's the one where I have. Well, then what is that? If a stake is just an ownership, and it's not the vested interest on something, it's just the fact of ownership. Am I understanding right so far?
It is the vested interest because
why would you care about the PlayStation being the superior version then?
Because you invested in it. Because you decided to spend $400 in that particular console. So
why would that matter though?
Because you spent the money. What is the point of
that's fine. No, I get that.
Look at the opposite of this.
No. But listen. Because I know exactly what you mean, and I get and I agree. Obviously, you want your best version, but why would that better version has to be at the detriment of the other version? Because the other version is not getting an equal.
No, it does not. I'm not saying it has to be, but if it is, should that matter to the stakeholder?
It will matter. Yeah, if you were saying this, like, well,
because you've invested into the side that decided to have the better version.
Right, so right. But if if I invested on the other side, well, how do you think I feel?
It sounds like you backed the wrong horse.
So
yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
And therefore, fuck me. You literally told me, fuck me.
You should be upset.
You literally did the dumb metrics of, well, we have a version for you. It's called the 360. You just did that.
PlayStation 4.
You just did that.
I mean, no, I was saying, like I said, I am trying to play devil's advocate here. For the evening
that's
so
better.
Realistically, that's how I would look at it as a, like, for instance, like a example that you had mentioned. Look at it the opposite end. If you invested into the Xbox and the Xbox is doing whatever it did this entire generation, what was the feeling of a lot of Xbox players this generation? They invested into their product, and what did it deliver? It delivered a lot of the same and nothing new. And then suddenly you have a lot of angry Xbox players who are going, "What the fuck? I'm defending. I've invested. I've spent. I even went with the Xbox One X. That was $500, and it's the most powerful console in the world at this point." And you guys are delivering nothing. So
but that discussion is not here nor there for our topic, though.
No, I know. I'm just saying, if you look at the opposite, it's the same. It's the same way you would look at it as someone who is investing in the correct, or not the correct, but into the wise
here. Into fucking PlayStation privilege. The PP, I'm gonna start calling y'all PlayStation
if you're investing into the oh geez, I said it again today. Anyway, my point is to say
You can't.
I know. I can't say. But my point is to say that I as a business, no, in short, really, as a business, I understand why they would make this decision. I understand why any of them make this decision. It's the same reason why Xbox made this. It's the same reason why Epic made the decisions. It's just you need a reason for people to come to you. And this is a reason for people to come to you. And it just makes business sense. Is it consumer friendly? That's debatable because in the end, it's not saying you don't have the game. You just don't have the game with this.
No,
With
you just have the fucked up inferior version. Fuck you, Xbox user.
Inferior is debatable as well because it's like it's to say hey, that version is broken.
It is
Like,
totally not though. I can't understand how you find it defensible. We're basically
really
we're literally yes, you're in the dark side. Like I don't know what's happening. Like I'm scared because you were used to be a staunch supporter of it's the gamers first. When Sony was making those asinine shit decisions of no crossplay because we got to protect the PlayStation. We don't want them handling with the we're gonna segregate the PlayStation players. Fuck Microsoft. We were like up in arms when Sony was saying, oh, you can get 2 jobs and you don't need Rumble. We were like, fuck you, Sony. Like we love you, we like your product, but fuck that. And now we're kind of okay in this, and it shouldn't. We really shouldn't. We should be up in arms on it. And when I mean up in arms, I don't mean like, oh, let's start a petition, because I mean like, well, at the very least, we should be standing here saying, yeah, I understand exclusive. I understand you have a great catalog. Microsoft has its catalog, but this deal is shit. This deal is shit because this is a game that is not an exclusive game to PlayStation. This game was originally meant to come on both consoles, and now it might as well just be coming to PlayStation and taken away because you guys are the Xbox now are the let them have cake. They're the let them have cake crowd.
Yeah,
and I realize I'm giving too much credit to this fucking game. It's probably going to be shit, but
I know in the end,
it's just
it just may be like you said a 7 at best.
Yeah, it's a solid 7 at most. It's what I expect of it. But it could be a great game though. It could be Destiny was a 6. And it sold like gangbusters, and it has its fan base, and this is a game where so far the previews, if you read all of them, all the previews, even from the PlayStation, well, not from the PlayStation blog itself, but even from the media that tend to lean more towards PlayStation, they agree. Hey, there's something good in here. Too bad it's marred with the Spider-Man decision from Sony, and that's or from Crystal Dynamics, whatever. And that's the fundamental problem that we have. That we have with it. That we should not be that even if we try to be devil advocate and understand the business decisions, we're not here for the stockholders. We're here for the consumers, for the gamers. At least that's what I've always believed. That we have been, regardless of platform of choice. I prefer the PC. I fucking own a PlayStation because I'm gonna want to play the exclusive that PlayStation have. And someday, if Microsoft gets their shit together and they bring something that is interesting, I might get one too. But I'm not gonna be wishing for, well, this game is a PC exclusive, and I don't want it to see it on consoles, or I don't want this version to be. Yeah. I don't want that.
I agree. And so, in closing, I'm going to say that this is
so much fun, though. I'm not kidding.
I know it is actually a lot of fun. I'm not going to lie. But in closing, I'm going to say that first off, if Spider-Man if they were finally to say, hey, Spider-Man is going to be coming to that version, that would not upset me in any way. And it shouldn't upset anyone in any way. Because guess what? It's just a fucking video game, and it's just a fucking character, and everybody should be able to play that fucking character. Mm-hmm. Period. And there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about that. It just should be as it is. And I stand by that. And I joke when I say that, well, I don't joke because, again, I'm going to be completely honest. I understand a business reason why you would want to do. If you have the opportunity, I can see why you would want to do it. Is it anti-consumer the way that Rise of the Tomb Raider was? No.
It is
And
as
I have
equal
to
as
disagree
the
with
consumer.
you.
It is.
No,
It is.
because
It is,
no,
bro.
because
Dude.
the majority of the market did not have that game available to
It
them
doesn't.
at
No, you're
all
being.
for a
Now
year.
you're being
A
an
total
Xboxist
year.
then,
No, no, no,
because
no, no, no.
you're
No.
saying well, just because the majority didn't have it, the minority that you're basically saying fuck the minority
No,
of
I'm
console
simply saying
gamers.
there's a difference. There is a difference
Fuck
from having
minority.
the game and not
I'm sorry.
having
Go
having the
back,
game.
because I covered what you said. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, no, I'm saying that there's a difference between having the game available for you to play and not having the game. And in essence, not having the game is not what's happening here, because the game is going to be available, and everything we have seen for over a year, maybe more, has shown all the content that everyone's going to be able to have. And just recently, hey, by the way, there's going to be some additional stuff with Spider-Man. That's really, in the essence, when you really when you really cut it down to what it is, it's some additional content that's
Yeah.
going to. I mean, it is a slippery slope, but again, in the end, the game, in all, and everything they have shown right before the Spider-Man reveal, in everything they've shown, they have never shown Spider-Man. You have all the other characters, you just don't have Spider-Man. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I'm going to say this again. Yes, I feel that everyone should be able to get Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is an awesome, fun character. However, is it the same loss as not being able to play the entire game for a freaking year? No, it's not. There's two different things. It's a difference.
You literally said it is killing two people is worse than killing one person. It sounds like it should be, right? Because obviously more losses. But guess what?
It's
It
still loss of
fucking is
life.
not. It's a
Yeah.
loss of life. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Now we're definitely way past, because there is nowhere
No,
near.
but the concept. What I'm trying to tell. I'm just trying to make you understand. What I'm trying to say is that it's content. This is not a skin. This is not a color of a gun. This is not a weapon, an exclusive weapon, which we were bitching about, or already when it was happening. Oh, wait a minute, we weren't, because it was exclusive on PlayStation. But Xbox people were. You could bet your ass they were. And, and, and and but no, this is a whole character class. Every character class plays differently, enough. And you're right. Xbox and PC owners are gonna be able to play the game minus one character class. And why? Why should that be? Why is that okay? Is my question. Why is that okay?
It shouldn't be, and it shouldn't be okay. What I'm trying to say is that I don't think it's anti-consumer. I don't think it's because you're not taking away the game.
You're taking a portion of. You're not being equal. You're not distributing the goods equally. You're not distributing the goods equally.
I guess that would be the argument. But I was saying, how many things have been locked behind like one console for a while for whatever reason?
Yes, I know, and that is shit. That is shit, and we have denounced that. You and I together have stood on the same stone, and we have said that is shit.
I'm still saying, hey, it should be available for everyone. I'm not saying, hey, it's okay to be exclusive on one end and fuck everybody else. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you bring Spider-Man there, that'd be great for everyone. It's great for everyone to play Spider-Man, even on PC. And hell, if you're bringing it to freaking Switch, it's happy for the Switch. But it's not anti-consumer if you don't.
It's literally anti the consumer, but because it's not anti your consumers, it's anti the consumers that are being affected. They have consumers that are being affected by this. And let me put it this way: if it wasn't anti-consumer, then why the hell are people upset about? Why are the consumers upset about? Why are the consumers upset about the fact that they don't get to play with their favorite, the favorite character? There was one report, and of course, I hate when media does this, when they try to make it like, but there was one report where they were saying, well, there's a person that is disabled, It can only play on the on I think the
PC.
PC version,
Yeah.
and his favorite character, he can play his favorite character, and of course they're gonna say that, but the point remains, if it doesn't if it affect a group, that group is being affected, and that is what makes it consumer. That by definition, that's those are the consumers being affected. Just because it's not happening to places, you could believe me, it hasn't happened on the other side, or I guess it did. Actually, it did, because with the Tomb Raider thing, the people were upset, and we were singing the condemnations of, well, that is anti-consumer, and that is shit.
I was singing the condemnations. I was just like,
I mean, we were upset. We were not happy with that, with the fact, regardless of what we felt about it. We thought that, well, that was a shit move.
Yeah,
because it is.
Yeah,
and so with this, I feel like I'm getting you closer to the.
No, I'm still gonna say,
but you escape me, because you keep saying that it's not anti-consumer. Well, whether and okay, you know what? And I realized, like, half of our not half. I'm sorry. 3/4 of the well, not even 3/4. 98% of the people that listen to this podcast are Sony enthusiasts. I get that, and I get why they're gonna try and give me the argument, and I say, go ahead, bring it on. I got no problem with it, because at the end of the day, I don't care about Sony. I don't care about Microsoft. I care about my PC because I built it myself. But I don't care about the price that it cost me to put it together. I don't care if it's an NVIDIA. I don't care if it's an ATI. I don't care if I have Intel. I used to have Intel. Now I have AMD. I don't care about that, because I just want the game. But guess what? I want the complete version. I don't want the gimped versions of the console versions that come out. So I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't know. I think we have. It doesn't look like it's gonna go anywhere other than my last words. If you're not gonna join me on this, I completely understand. That's fine. This is my own stake that I take. I am glad that we have a passionate, Sony fan base. But if your joy is having something that the other consoles don't, just for the sake of being exclusionary, then you're a dick.
Then that's definitely wrong. Yeah, wrong view.
Yeah, because and I'm not talking about, of course, first party game, second party games. I get that, obviously. Obviously. I'm talking about celebrating the fact that your version of the game has the advantages that the other version, doesn't have, or vice versa. Like this very well happen. I will go back in time and say the same thing. Well, actually, I did with Xbox exclusivity, time exclusive, and marketing bullshit like this fucking sucks. It's terrible. It's anti-consumer. And it doesn't have many masks. It doesn't have different masks. So, well, maybe it's not that anti-consumer. No, it is fucking anti-consumer. And at the end of the day, we shouldn't be celebrating that.
No, we definitely should not be celebrating anti-consumer. I can get on board with that.
We shouldn't.
No, I agree. All right, guys. Well, that brings us to the end of what is probably one of the most awesome conversations I've had.
Dude, this is. I was concerned about this one, because I thought we were gonna be. I thought that this was honestly. I thought this was gonna be us, just both of us on the same side. That's one where you said, "Well, I don't think I'm gonna play advocate." I'm like, oh, that was the plot twist. That was the plot twist of this. of this, and I love you and I respect you because you're my brother, even when you're wrong. I'm fucking with you. Hey,
that's okay. That's all right. This has been awesome, guys. And I appreciate you guys hanging on. As always, please go to goodgame.rocks. Join the conversation there. And of course, if you go there, please leave us your comments as to how you feel about this particular topic. And
how do you feel about minorities? Like, do you?
Wow.
That's the question. How do you feel about minorities? Should they be treated equally, or should they be not? Because they picked the wrong horse. Minority. When I mean minorities, I'm talking about the minority of console. Yeah, that's what I'm referring to. What do you guys thought I was talking about?
The minority stakeholder, guys.
the minorities, as far as the Xbox owners, and. Oh, wait a minute! No, they're in cahoots with the PCs, which we're fucking legion. So
I was gonna say, I think they're gonna be doing just fine. For the record, they have been. Even we can say that the console market has gone to Sony, but Microsoft is not sitting there just not making anything.
No, Microsoft is having. Yeah. Microsoft is not selling consoles, but they sure as fuck are selling the games.
Oh, for sure.
Just look at the Steam. Just look at the Steam top 10 right now. Like 6 of them or 7 of them are Microsoft titles, and that's fucking Steam.
Yeah,
you don't fuck with Steam.
Yeah, that says it all.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So this is Mad Dog signing off for this week, saying please continue to wear your masks. Mr. Dream Twister, take us home.
I thought I did.
Oh, okay.
Fuck COVID.
Fuck COVID, indeed. All right, guys. On that note, we'll see you next week.